Okay, let's see. Testing. Everything all good? Looks good. Just waiting for a few of you to trickle in. Just going to look at the deck for a moment. Make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Amazing art. Super duper beautiful. The artist's name is so tiny down there. Joshua Howard. I don't even think that would show up in your guys' resolution. Poor artists. Same guy that did this one. Joshua Howard. Good for this tattoo artist. I guess he must be pretty famous to get handpicked by Wizards of the Coast to do these tattoo style artworks for this secret lair. So, love the Eternal Witness, love the Pithing Needle. Also have new basics recently. Snow-covered forest, snow-covered island, snow-covered plains. I mean, if any of you guys are here with me yet, which of these arts do you think is the best? The plains, the island, or the forest? I think they're all really nice. They're just big upgrades to the silly arts that I was using before. Like, I don't know. These lands are kind of a joke. They seem like they were pretty phoned in. Titus Luntner is a pretty awesome artist, but, you know, looks like this land took him all of, like, 7 minutes. The mountain, maybe 9 minutes. The swamp, 4 minutes. This has some detail. Maybe this was like 11 minutes. But all in all, pretty lackluster, pretty low effort, pretty phoned in. So I really kind of like the old ones. I think they're like kind of cool in a cheesy old school Magic kind of way. Just like straight up purple. Awesome. It's got some random planetary body up at the top. You guys can't move my cursor. It's this little moon thing. They're really cool, but unfortunately, you know, it's like a tree trunk. Pretty cool. The top looks identical in all of these when you're fetching your lands. Snow-covered forest, snow-covered island, snow-covered. It just all looks the same. It's just a bunch of text. So when you're fetching, it's really difficult. So if they fix that, I might go back to playing these guys eventually. But I always really hated these full art lands. Just doesn't make any sense, the art. So the forest now looks like a forest. The island, I guess they're talking about that little floating island there in the middle. Although, you know, this harbor could be part of a larger island. So, and then the plains. I think for me, the plains is the best. I'm not sure. I guess those are little tree stumps dotted throughout the art, but just a really nice mix of tones. You've got the warm sort of yellow grass and then just kind of white everywhere else. A little bit of blue in the sky and the mountains in the horizon. So really happy to have those new arts. I'm just waiting for you guys to start to jump in with me. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep talking about basic land art. What else? I've got a few more substantive changes to discuss in the actual composition of the deck. But again, I'd like at least one or two of you guys in here to be chatting with me, and I haven't noticed anybody in here with me yet. So I guess for the time being, I'll just talk about what's been performing well, what I've been seeing in the metagame, I lost twice earlier today to blue-white control and then to Bant control, which I was a little bit frustrated by. It just seemed like they always had whatever they needed. It was like if I had a deputy for all of their zombie tokens in the Bant control list, they just had the path right away to like deal with the deputy. If I had Siege Rhino to try to burn them out, they had a path immediately. Just always with the Snapcaster, recasting, Mystic Sanctuary. Just you guys know how it feels when the control decks have it all. It can be pretty frustrating. So lost a couple times to those two control decks, but I finished the league 3-2. I started 1-0, beating Jund, just annihilating Jund. This deck lines up really well against Jund. Soulherder does. But if you get like a relatively inexperienced Jund player, like you can just like utterly tear them apart with this deck. Like if they keep a hand that they think just like destroys your deck, something like Ashiok, which is actually pretty good. This player seemed to keep like an Ashiok heavy hand. They had a Renin 6, but not a lot of creatures, not a lot of anything else really, not even a lot of removal. So they got down a Renin 6 and they got down an Ashiok, and they kept trying to kill my little dudes with Renin 6, and I kept ephemerating them to get back Ephemerate, and he kept targeting the creatures even though he knew that I had Ephemerate, and I was like, did he draw a Fatal Push? Let's see. Play the Ephemerate. No Fatal Push? Okay, more value. And it's just like, when are you going to change your course of action, you know? Ashiok is pretty rough. It turns off a lot of our lands, but if you get your mana going and your card draw going, you should be able to hit enough basics, get enough creatures on the battlefield that you can just kill Ashiok, potentially get rid of him with like Deputy of Detention. So yeah, anyhow, just annihilated Jund in round 1, and then very frustratingly lost to those two control decks. But then I was able to dig out a 3-2 from the really poor 1-2 start. Round 4 was a red-blue Narset. I think it was a Fires of Inventions turns deck, like extra turns deck with Narset and Days Undoing, which makes you discard your whole hand, them too, but they get to draw 7 cards. But with Narset on the battlefield, you're just going to draw 1, presumably on their turn. So pretty massive blowout if that combination actually hits. Fortunately, I had the Force of Negation for when they went for the Days Undoing. And then is that what that's called? Days Undoing? I think that's what it's called. I was able just to attack their Narset down after I countered the Days Undoing. I never saw Fires of Invention against them, but that seemed to be the main reason. Just like, I think it's in a lot of turns decks, this Fires of Inventions card. They play Lightning Bolt and things like that. But yeah, I just kind of tore them apart too. So that was 2-2. And then the last round I played against Ponza, which should be a good matchup for us. But I've lost the last couple times I played them. Today, fortunately, I drew pretty well. The Ponza opponent didn't have the nuts, and I was able to finish the league 3-2. So that's the story of today's league. Any of you guys here with me yet? If you're here, leave a comment in the chat, because I've got some, I was saying earlier, some substantive sort of adjustments to the deck that I'm going to make. And I'm just waiting to discuss them until I've got some people here with me. So I've been playing this build, or a very, very similar version of it, for like a month and a half, I'd say now. And prior to sort of getting off the ground with this deck, feeling like I was doing pretty well in the queues that I was playing, I switched finally back to playing leagues with Soulherder once I just felt confident enough and was willing to sort of commit to league play. And since then, I've gone 5-0 twice with the deck in, I think the actual span was like 10 days, which is pretty good for me. And then I got a 4-1 like the very next day after the last 5-0. I got to the last round 4-0, and I forget what it was, but one of them I lost to some crazy blitz kind of aggro deck. It wasn't like a normal prowess deck. They were running Blister Coil weird and Bomat Courier. So just super aggro, and I was about to dominate the second game, but then they landed Blood Moon, and because it was kind of a brew, I just, for whatever reason, I wasn't expecting Blood Moon, and I had not fetched basics, and I was left with only green and blue mana. I had a ton of removal, a ton of blink, and suffice to say, I got run over by the aggro deck. They Blood Moon me out of it. So that was an unfortunate loss, and did not go 5-0 in that one. And then after that, I had another 4-0 situation recently where I think I lost to Dredge, or just something that is not a good matchup that just kind of stomps us. So in the last 2 weeks, I've gone 5-0 twice, and I've gone 4-1 twice. Both of them, both of the 4-1s were 4-0s, where I had the chance in the last round and didn't get there. So the deck feels great. Really enjoying it. Hey, McDerp, I was just waiting for 1 or 2 people to join me so that I can start talking about some adjustments that I'm making to the deck for this evening. Let's see. So first off, I had mentioned, I think last week, that I might change out, like I had it like this before, with 2 Teferis in the sideboard and 1 main deck Knight of Autumn. And I had hung on to the main deck Knight of Autumn because there's so much Stoneforge around. But Teferi is actually quite good against Stoneforge decks also. And it's just a higher value card. It's a card that people talk about banning all the time. And so if I have to choose between, the potential bannable card and Knight of Autumn in the main deck, I just feel like I'm leaning towards Teferi now. So Knight of Autumn, still in the deck, still in the sideboard, still quite good in the metagame. I'm not ready to just put it on the bench entirely. So that is the first change. Now the second change, I started discussing in the Discord earlier this evening. And over the last month and a half that I've been playing this build, with all the success that I've had with it, the card that has been doing the least, I would say, has been Venser. So let me explain. A large portion of the metagame right now is pretty low to the ground. And if they're not low to the ground, like aggro decks, then they don't really care about you bouncing their stuff. So let me give you some examples. Like mid-range, bouncing a Tarmogoyf isn't that amazing, right? Bouncing a Death Shadow can be good if you've got like a little army that can attack and win on the next turn, but it's a 1-drop, right? So bouncing 1-drops, not really that great. If the opponent has an Ashiok on the board and you really need to crack a bunch of fetch... Oof, that was loud. And you really need to crack a bunch of fetch lands. Maybe Venture will bounce Ashiok, you crack all your fetch lands, great. Same thing with Blood Moon. Maybe you need to bounce a Blood Moon, great. But the casting cost is kind of restrictive, so Blood Moon might just get you. Like, you might not be able to cast Fencer, right? So maybe not the super best card against Blood Moon. So, not the best against mid-range, I don't think. So Jund, green-red, not the best against Prowess because it's 4 mana and they're super fast and they play 1-drop, so bouncing their 1-drop, yes, you might save like 5 damage, which could win the game, but they're just going to play their 1-drop again. Doesn't feel that significant. Where is Venser the best? Well, Venser is the best, I think, against Supreme Verdict. But it's kind of the best against Supreme Verdict where we're presenting like lethal on the next turn or something. Because if you just bounce the Supreme Verdict, we're going to crack in for like 3 damage with a bunch of stupid snakes. And then they're just going to Supreme Verdict the next turn. Now, if you've got like an Ephemerate, then sure, maybe you can keep putting off that Supreme Verdict. But my deck doesn't really care about... Oh, hey, Yellow Mimic, thanks for just checking in. I'm gonna do my best. Maybe you can check in later. I'll probably be here for 2.5, 3 hours. But thanks a lot for checking in and saying hi. Let me just check in with all you guys here. So welcome to the stream. Happy to see you guys all tumbling in here. I've been going on and on about basic lands while waiting for you guys to join me. So Cactus Owie Smock, very cool to see you. 2 in the night in Poland. So welcome. I'll try to play fast so we get in a lot of action for you. Let's see, Ferdy, I haven't started yet, but I was just talking a minute ago about over the last 2 weeks, I've gone 5-0 twice with this build and 4-1, both 4-0s, and then I lost the last round. So had the potential to go 5-0 4 times in the last couple weeks, but only got it twice. But I'm still quite happy with that for Soulherder. It's still very much kind of a brew style of deck. So to continue, I was talking about Venser and Supreme Verdict. Again, not super amazing necessarily bouncing the Supreme Verdict unless you can get off an Ephemerate and push it back 2 turns, maybe 3 turns, maybe bounce some lands in between. Now, our deck doesn't really care a great deal. Well, it does. It cares, but it's not like utter devastation because we have 2 Uros, right? So if they Supreme Verdict, it's just fuel for the Uro, right? And if they try to path it, we've got Ephemerates, we can protect it. So I feel like Uro is in general better protection than Venser is against Supreme Verdict. I think Venser's best spot, period, is against Tron, various Tron decks. And if you get Venser in your opening hand, if you get a Birds, you can keep them off their Tron for the whole game, in theory, right? And that's a really strong strategy against Tron, but it's a singleton, and I'm not really interested in ticking up the numbers of Venser right now. So we're not going to chord for it in the early turns. You need to have it in your opening hand as a singleton, not highly likely. It can be very useful in the late game. You can get like a land bouncing situation going, but it's much less likely than in the early game. And you need quite a board to be able to chord for a 4-drop. It's a ton of resources. And so the change that I've got in mind, and some of you guys have been listening to me on the Discord today, my thought is to revisit Vendilion Click just in place of Venser, right? So very similar casting costs, just a little bit less expensive. 3-drop instead of 4-drop obviously makes a massive difference for Chord of Calling. Often, like, you can get a 3-drop with Chord just like a full turn earlier than a 4-drop. And Vendilion Click, it has some nice upside when you compare it to Venser. It's a flyer, right? So it gets to go over like Batterskull and kill planeswalkers like Teferi. So pretty strong. It's still a blue card, still pitches to force. It has flash, just like Venser. It's got 3 power, whereas Venser only has 2. And basically, a situation that comes up way more often than Venser being useful is like the opponent's on 0 cards, and we're both just kind of drawing, like, top decking, basically, trying to find cards to win the game. So whether I chord for it or if I just cast it during the opponent's draw step, going to hopefully keep them off their bombs, their combo pieces, their board wipes. And then with Ephemerate, potentially looping with Eternal Witness or Soulherder, just keep them off of good stuff for a while. It just, to me, seems like it could be a higher impact than Venser. Now, the weaknesses are that it only has 1 toughness, so it dies to Gut Shot, dies to Lava Dart. That's pretty rough. But I don't know that I keep Click in against Lava Dart decks post board, so potentially not the biggest downside. If they don't have one of those cards, they're just going to spend a bolt on it maybe anyway. It could potentially block one of those Stormwing entities, sort of save us some damage. So it dies to Ren and 6, I get it, but it has flash, so it gets to work around Ren and 6. So they tick Ren up, I flash it in, maybe I have like a 1 or 2 drop on the battlefield. I mean a snake or an Eternal Witness on the battlefield already. We can flash in Vendilion Click and hopefully just finish off the Ren and 6. So DV, I think that Knight is actually quite good, I was saying earlier. But I think I'd prefer it to be in the sideboard because Knight is primarily for the Stoneforge matchups. It's best in the Stoneforge matchups. It's like a 2-for-1 in those matchups. It's really good against Burn. It's okay against Prowess. Gaining life, destroying an Eidolon of the Great Revel. But really, like, Teferi is pretty much never bad. I've just more and more lately, don't know how many times you guys have played against Jund with Soulherder, but it's really insanely good against Jund because anytime they try to do anything to your creatures, Ephemerate becomes, a counter spell plus draw a card, or get the best card back from your graveyard. If they're attacking, it becomes a fog plus draw a card. It's crazy powerful, and they cannot interact with it. So Teferi, just in so many matchups, Teferi has been so good, and we still need a lot of creatures, so I'm not really ready to commit to like 2 Teferis because in the main deck. But it's so good in some matchups that I do want a second in the sideboard. So again, welcome to the stream, everybody. Thanks for joining me. That's the list. That's what I'm going to run tonight. Still just have the 2 black cards in Hostage Taker and Siege Rhino. Hostage Taker hasn't done too much in the last couple of leagues, but Siege Rhino has. It's won some games. But I'm just very confident in these 2 choices at the moment. all these low to the ground decks, if we get these things off, then we get to like either just gain a bunch of life or just take a Soulscar Mage away or something like that. So both of these have been feeling really good. When I haven't been going 4-1 or 5-0, it's been almost always 3-2s. I feel like I have a good handful of 3-2s in the last month or so with this. And really, I'm definitely 1, 2, 3, 2 and 3, maybe 2. But in general, a hugely positive win rate with the deck. Tons of fun, and it can win, and that's kind of like the best of both worlds. So with that all said, all right, McDerp, thanks for checking in. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and start the league. All right, we've got our Soulherder queued up. And let's see how it goes. M. Hayashi continuing to dominate the Modern League. It's like for every 1 trophy anybody else gets, he just gets 2, and he just keeps pulling further and further ahead. He even had a published Merfolk 5-0, so it's in the last few weeks. So it'd be interesting to know how many of these trophies were gotten with Merfolk and how many were gotten with his unique prowess deck. I'm sure that like the vast majority of them were with his prowess deck, but he's been a Merfolk originator for a really long time, innovator, I should say. So I've gotten a bunch of new followers lately, so thanks to you guys. I am getting close to 190, really pushing for that 200 mark. I won the die roll, and this is a really, really nice opening hand, so we're going to keep. We're going to open up green-white into blue. Now, having white and blue separate is actually pretty significant for Teferi and for Deputy of Detention. If you go like blue-white into green, then you've got your like white-green sorted, but I'm not even running main deck Knight right now. So we are going to go green-white into blue in case we draw another land and draw Teferi and we want to play it on turn 3. All right, well, off the bat, this looks like it might be a positive matchup. Opponent did mulligan to 6, I think. I'm going to go ahead and crack this right now. I say positive because they didn't play like a Soulscar Mage, and it looks like it might be Shadow or just... I'll get the Canopy Vista now. Shadow or Jund. Now, I'm more interested in this situation in potentially ramping than I am like in playing around Rendon 6. So I'm going to just get a... that land that I drew there was very nice. We do want to hit 3 lands on time. I'm just going to play an Oracle right now and hopefully hit another land. Hey, Paintball Demon. Do you notice you have like a little diamond icon next to your name? So something I haven't mentioned yet is that I recently unlocked the ability to call out VIPs in the chat. And so I just saw that like 10 minutes ago, the new ability. So I haven't been able to, you have to actually manually assign the role. So I'm going to look at all of you guys who have subscribed to the channel, all of you who have been followers for a long time. Oh man, Steam Vent, that's not what I was expecting. So anyhow, to finish my thought, I will definitely assign. Oh, there's a Death Shadow. Nice of them to mill that for us. So Grixis, I guess. We can't see this art, unfortunately. Again, to finish my thought, I will be assigning many of you guys the VIP role. It's just, I'm not exactly sure what it does, but hopefully it just makes you guys feel good. Yes, very, very important paintball person. PPP. Wow, look at these shocklands are so distracting. Look at that wild art. It's insane. What do you got, opponent? All right, they're just hitting their life total for no apparent reason. But Uro and Fetches is pretty sick. So let's think this through. Probably, almost certainly going to play Uro and another land on this turn. Yeah, it seems like quite a good hand. So I think I'm just going to get like another island, play Uro, and then get... I already have Canopy Vista. So the sequencing there actually was pretty poor. The reason to go fetch Canopy Vista early is so you don't draw it and have it be very awkward. But you always do want to fetch it on like turn 3. So anyhow, I am going to get a basic island, but I think I'll probably get in with the Coiling Oracle first. See, they are already below 13 life, so whatever. I have a Path to Exile in hand, as well as a free Force of Negation. So I am going to get blue with this land, and just a basic, I think. Opponent knows I have Uro. I believe it was revealed off of the Coiling Oracle. But we're getting pretty close to just casting this Mamajamba right now. Okay, we'll play that thing. And if the opponent has something that I need to counter, I guess I'll just go get my Temple Garden and take the hit. I'm not really thinking about this sacrifice trigger. We have a Vendilion Click now, which is kind of cool. Okay, Watery Grave continuing to hit their life total. Street Wraith, looking for that Death Shadow. It's right over here, opponent. Maybe they have like that Planeswalker, the blue and red, the Scion, Royal Scions. Death Shadow, fair enough. And it's a big boy, so I might have to pitch Force of Negation to counter... not pitch, but cast. Opponent tanking here. Inquisition. All right, so that's certainly going to get responded to. Okay, Stubborn Denial. Because they never don't have it. And I like the... Hang on a sec, let's make sure that I'm doing what I want to do here. I think I prefer the Coatl at this point. Death Touch seems significant. And the opponent gets to take one of these 2 cards out of my hand, but Uro is coming. Death Shadow number 1 dealt with. Another Death Shadow in the graveyard. Opponent seemed like they've been digging for it pretty hard. They don't have any mana up for that black card that is really annoying. You guys know what I'm talking about. I prefer to cast this right now because... rather than the snakes, because I don't want... I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter too much. They don't have anything that can counter a creature in their deck, I don't think. But having 2 snakes in hand is quite nice. Birds is kind of meh. So, to stay in this, they really need another Death Shadow off the top. Maybe a fetch land and a push would at least give them a bit of breathing room. All right, a 3rd Death Shadow in the top. Okay, there we go. Okay, fair enough. I was about, well, am I going to get tilted here? Do they have 3 Death Shadows in the top 18 cards? Looks like they do. Now they have 1 card left, so, well, Force is sort of okay. So I'll probably just play Birds and Fang and... well, let's start with Ice Fang. And we can just sort of hold up Force for the Battle Rage. And I don't really mind blocking here because blocking just fills up the graveyard. Playing this now because I might draw land. All right. Birds it is. And I'm sort of fine taking 8. Let's see what the opponent is holding. Wow. Okay. So 10-10, 2 cards in hand. And again, you know what? Maybe a block here is fine, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I just block with the birds. So they got 2 cards in hand. In order to not... Yeah, I think I have to block with somebody. If I don't block with the birds, it means that I have at least 5 mana next turn. I can cast Oracle and leave up Hardcast Force. So I might just block with the Oracle here. I could just like triple block and then cast Uro next turn. That doesn't seem super terrible. But Uro by himself against a 10-10, maybe not the best. And we only have to do 3 points of damage to finish this out. So I just don't want to lose to like Temur Battle Rage plus Stummer Denial. So I'm going to block with something. I think I'll probably just block with the birds and we can just run it back next turn if nothing else. Yeah, we're on the same page, DV. What do you got, opponent? You got that Battle Rage. You couldn't possibly have 3 Death Shadows in the top, it was 18 cards of your deck and not have Temur Battle Rage also, which is, I think, like, what, a singleton or maybe 2 of? How about that 4th Death Shadow right now? No? That's a shame. So yeah. The way that this works is, like, I don't want to let them draw more cards, and I don't care if they have more basic lands. I'm just going to cast this now. All right. Sweet. We got there. Like, I have gotten bitten more times than I care to admit by, like, putting up a bunch of chump blockers, tapping out when I had a path in hand, only to, like, get Temur Battle Raged out of the game. So that was a brilliant hand against Death Shadow, so hopefully we can run that same kind of idea back. So this is definitely a matchup you can see if we're going to try to measure it, where Teferi is better than Knight, and so I already had one Teferi in, so it seemed like the choice was correct so far. All right, so I think these are the 7 cards that I'm going to bring in. I don't like Force against Death Shadow. I do like Vendilion Click quite a lot because it can like ship a Death Shadow on their upkeep, or rather their draw step. I gotta start cutting some stuff. Uro is like the best card in the matchup. Teferi is also kind of insane. It makes them play at sorcery speed. Siege Rhino is a way to just win the game. I need to trim just 3 more cards. And honestly, I think that the birds are pretty easy cuts here. Because they just die very easily. And they don't really contribute value. You know what? I think I'll stay on 2 birds, but I will trim a land since I'm on the draw. And when I'm leaving in my black cards, I trim a Heath. When I take out my black cards, like against Ponza, like against Blood Moon, I take out the Overgrown Tomb, thanks to Paintball Demon for pointing out that little nuance. I think when I was playing against Ponza last week, I took out like a Misty Rainforest. First of all, if you're going to trim one of your fetches, you should trim one of the Windswept Heaths, because green-blue are your primaries. And yeah, if you're taking out your black creatures, there's no need to have the Overgrown Tomb. So I'm going to go ahead and trim a Windswept Heath, and we'll run it like that. 2 birds, still potentially going to ramp me. Veil of Summer, just a massive all-star in this matchup. So opponent will be on the play, and this is sensational. It's a little tricky though, because sometimes they start off like they want to wait till turn 2 or something to, oh, they're mulliganing to 6. They want to wait till like turn 2 to Thoughtseize me or something, in which case it could be correct just to play like the Temple Garden untapped. Actually, that would be a huge tell. I might just play the Windswept Heath and not play the birds. So I've got removal, I've got the Veil. Soulherder is okay, we don't have any value yet. But 2 pieces of removal, pretty awesome. Particularly with the opponent mulliganing to 6. I've definitely played against this opponent very recently. That's funny how that happens. I believe they don't have any trophies. Are they going to Thoughtseize me right now? Let's see. So you guys can help me out here. If they, well, they're looking at their top deck. I mean, this is such a funny little interaction. Like, I guess they like the top card on their deck, so they did not Thoughtseize me. So I wonder now, with them on a mulligan and us with holding removal, the chance for like a blowout just seems so incredibly high. So I think I'll probably open with Windswept Heath and just hold up Veil. There's no huge reason to run out the birds and just get it pathed right away. Like Veil of Summer is just so incredible. If they have like exactly Thoughtseize plus Stumber Denial, that's sort of fine. I would get green-blue if I was forced to crack this for a Thoughtseize. So yeah, that's the plan. Gonna slow roll it against this opponent right now. Why did they? Okay, so that means they didn't have the Thoughtseize. Okay, what's going on here? All right, Thought Scouring. Fair enough. I could also go get blue-white if we need to cast Path instead of Veil. All right, opponent going for something here. Collective Brutality would be cool. Maybe just like a big old angler that I can just piece out right away. All right, here we go. We're getting green-blue. And we'll see if they have the Stummer Denial. Oh, hey, Drake. How's it going? That was sick. Got to draw a card and counter their Inquisition. How you like that, opponent? Gonna play an angler now? Feels bad, man. So we are up 1-0, Drake. So we play this untapped. Yeah, that was a good Cryptic Command. I'm just gonna say bye-bye to this guy right now. No counter spells. I mean, I could have done it during upkeep because they certainly would have Stummer Denialed. It's probably a slight punt right there. If they had a Stummer Denial, they probably would have just countered the Veil. But whatever. Who cares? My hand is fine. Probably better than the opponent's hand. All right, play some more lands. What do you got? Inquisition? All right. Got a lot of good cards over here. Imagine they're going to take the Eternal Witness. Maybe the Snake, but probably the Eternal Witness. Unless they have a push for this, in which case they might take the Snake. They took neither the Snake nor the Witness. So they, okay, another one. Fair enough. Have to take the Witness. Have to. Okay. I'm down with that decision. Now they play their Hedron Crab. Okay. You know, I'd have no basics. This is kind of a... doesn't really matter. They know I have the Coiling Oracle. I don't care if they know one more card in my hand. I would prefer to not get Mystical Disputed right here. But whatever. The reason I'm main phasing either of these right now is I'd prefer to play a land. Like that. And now at this point, it's balls in the opponent's court. What do you got? More Cling to Dusts, getting rid of the path. That's fine. That's fine. Nothing I can do, really, in response. Okie dokie. They do need 4 mana to be able to cast that thing again. There they go. And they will have 5, nope, only 4 other cards unless they cast something else. Counting the fetch, of course. I want them to play Death Shadow and draw a land so that I can take it and play it with Hostage Taker. Oh, they just scooped. That's kind of sad. Okay. So we got round 1 against what should typically be a pretty favorable matchup. So as I said, I've seen this opponent before. I think it went pretty similarly. But those shock lands are pretty beautiful, very distracting. Give me 1 second, guys. Be right back. Come on. All right, I'm back. Hey, Kale. Nice to see you. Thanks for the good luck. So I've gotten a bunch of new followers lately. So if any of you guys follow the channel recently, thanks very much. And of course, if you followed me a long time ago, thanks even more. I'm getting pretty close to 190 followers. I think I had like 187 at the start of tonight. I'd love to get past that 190 point tonight. And really looking forward to that 200 mark, at which point I might be able to sort of convince somebody to give me some kind of small sponsorship. So if you haven't followed the channel, I really, really appreciate it. I play Soulherder every Monday on stream around 8 p.m. Eastern, Merfolk on Wednesday evenings. And I might add a third day at some point, but for the time being, 2 nights feels just about right to me. Opponent is on the play. This is an awkward hand. I feel like I've gotten a very small, a very similar opening hand recently, which could be quite good against, for example, Prowess, which is one of the top contenders in the format. Also, the Force, solid against decks like Tron, but obviously no creatures that do anything. Ferdy, we can talk about that later. Are you in the, you want to make me some bots? Like, what, to tell people to follow and subscribe? What do you guys think about this hand? Obviously, if we draw well, like if we top deck some, it doesn't have an ephemerate. It doesn't have any value. I think I probably have to bottom this. But again, we've got some ramp. 2 removal spells against something like Prowess could just win the game kind of by itself. It's tough. It's tough. I'm gonna mulligan. Let's remember what we've got: 3 lands, birds, 2 paths, Force. All right, little bit better. Little bit better. Look at these super saturated lands. It's like, wow. Yeah, this is like the same hand but better, basically. So I'll probably start off green, white, blue. So bottom the other blue, I guess. And if it's Ponza, we'll just start with a forest, I guess. You know what? The white is often extraneous. All right, I'll keep the yeah, Kale. I've got the Teferi in the main deck. 1 Teferi in the main deck in place of the Knight of Autumn, which is now in the sideboard, and I've got Click in place of Venser in the main deck. So really just spam accounts. Oh no, please don't make any spam accounts. I'm gonna bottom the planes just because it tends to be a little bit awkward. And we'll just hope that we're not getting paired against Ponza. We'll say we're done. All right, so it looks like Jund or something similar, and if they take the Coiling Oracle, the hand is significantly weakened. Okay, fair enough, opponent. It's a favorable matchup. We're going to draw gas. We're going to be like snake, snake, snake off the top. Snake, snake, snake into Uro. There it is. You know, you want to take it. Take the birds, actually. That's like the most dangerous card in the hand. All right. They left the snake. All right, well, probably Shadow then, I'd imagine. Maybe they have Renin 6 to kill the birds, which is like backbreaking, kind of, sort of, kind of, because we've got, oh, Uro. Uro is excellent. Super duper excelente right there. So we need to get green-white here. Hit that life total a little bit. If they have Renin 6, the birds go to the graveyard and just power the Uro, so not too worried about Renin 6 here. Opponent probably thinks it's just like an utter like windmill slam. But it's not that bad. Not that bad. I've beaten this before. Yeah, whatever. Snakes. Actually, a green land at some point would be pretty nice as well. So I'm going to play out the Oracle. I'm going to let him continue to tick down Renin 6 if they feel like doing that. They might have a Liliana to follow up with, but that was quite lovely. I think now I do need a double green to cast Uro. Oh, that's rough. So I can't get green and white to ephemerate. Yeah, getting bitten by the Temple Garden and Canopy Vista. So I guess, you know, Uro's a whiles away and we've got a lot of green lands in the deck. So if they try to go for Coiling Oracle, I will probably try to ephemerate. Remember, any cards that go to the graveyard are just fueling Uro. Hey, COT4. Thanks very much, man. It's been a lot of fun playing lately. Now, I think I'm gonna get a basic Plains here. I think I'm gonna get a basic Plains, and if they have the push or whatever, again, it's just filling up the graveyard for Uro. Hopefully we catch the opponent with their pants down and they have nothing to do in response to this. But if they take their whole turn killing my Coiling Oracle, it's sort of okay. All right, fair enough. You got me. You got me, opponent. Oh, you have another land. Okay. Is that going to be a Tarmogoyf? It is. Why wouldn't it be? So turn 1, Inquisition. Turn 2, Renin 6. Turn 3, Push plus Tarmogoyf. There's that Canopy Vista right on time. That's pretty cool. We can play both lands this turn. So, I guess I might as well start with the Uro, right? I guess. Man, if they cling to dust me, that would hurt. Maybe like a Scavenging Ooze off the top would be kind of bananas. Canopy Vista is kind of cool. And I mean, Path to Exile is pretty cool. So, pass to the opponent. Please don't cling my Uro. Please don't play a freaking... Oh, god damn it. Man, that is nail in the coffin kind of stuff right there. So now we need to draw really hot. Opponent just with the crazy utter nuts so far this game. And this is untapped. Like, I guess they just want to keep eating stuff. Huh. And so at this point, I think I have to kill the Scavenging Ooze because it's just going to get increasingly obnoxious. Yeah, I mean, it's Path to Exile is fine, but we need to draw another Uro right now. So they already played their land? Nah, they didn't play the land yet. Yeah, dude, that Uro was going to be amazing. Opponent just with, like, bonkers stuff here. So we are hoping for an Eternal Witness off the top now, I think. Mana, we don't have any black mana, so, like, Siege Rhino would be pretty bad. Whatever. Let's take the damages. And they return Verdant Catacomb, so we know that that's one of the 2 cards in their hand. Freaking Scavenging Ooze, man. I think they have like 1 or 2 of those in the whole deck. Oh, that's rough. That's crazy rough. All right, well, we should have a little bit of time. Super favorable matchup. But opponents bring in the heat, so... And they've got the peatland here. Nasty. They can start cycling that with Ren and 6. Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, this is why Pithing Needle comes in against these guys. They'll definitely be bringing in... I should have played my land, but I didn't expect Liliana of the Veil. All right, this is getting a little bit harder. Opponent returned Verdant Catacombs. I'm not really sure. I guess they have more gas to play. Oh my god. All right. We're not dead yet, guys. We're going to do this. We're going to draw like 6 snakes off the top of the deck and wreck this guy. Got some Death Touch. Come on, Snaky Boy. Well, Path not the end of the world. Path is pretty good. His opponent has crazy card advantage on top of everything else. They have Bob, plus they have... I mean, they don't seem to see this as like... Maybe they don't need to yet. Crack the peatland, get it back, play it, crack it again. I mean, normally, 9 times out of 10, the play is just to Path Bob right now on the spot. But I might just die and they get a lot of cards anyway, but I think it's still got to be the plan. I think we're like 10% at this point, maybe like less than that. Let's say 5%. Oh, did they discarded something? Wow. Okay, I mean, you didn't have to discard that. I guess it doesn't matter. I guess if they're going to plus Liliana. So they drew something good here, huh? Maybe a Bloodbraid Elf just to cap it all off? Why not? All right, opponent. This means you can't possibly draw this well again in the next game. So with me on the play, probably pretty favored. I did mulligan. Man, this was so dirty. Like, imagine this game if I had Uro. I would have drawn like 3 cards, would have gained a bunch of life. Jeez, this is just Jund firing on all cylinders. I do need to main phase this right now because I think, you know, we need to see what we're drawing. Unfortunately, I think we're just dead, but I don't think we have outs. Like Ephemerate plus Path. Ephemerate into Path still doesn't do it. Actually, it might. Let's see. Or just Path here. It's fine. Oh, doesn't do it. All right, so we're dead. Ugh, that's the craziest that I've seen Jund have in a really long time. Turn 1 Inquisition, turn 2 Ren and 6, turn 2 Push for My Birds plus Tarmogoyf. What was it? Turn 3 Liliana, whatever it was. Just nasty. But they play good cards. They deserve to draw them every now and then. 2 Pithing Needles, 1 Veil of Summer. They are red heavy. They do play Ren and 6. They play Seasoned Pyromancer. Seasoned Pyromancer, obviously Bloodbraid Elf, so I do like Burrington in the matchup. Obviously all of these guys. I'm not totally sold on Aether Gust. It's kind of a fringe, like last kind of pick situation. Teferi is utterly bonkers in the matchup. I think he's just one of the best cards in the matchup. I think I just tend to trim all of my birds. I want to like, I trim all the forces for sure. Like, I don't really care if they get Ren typically. Like, I've got answers with Pithing Needle, Celestial Purge, just flashing creatures and beat it down. And then I tend to take out a bunch of birds just because they die really easily. We don't want to lean on those for mana too hard. And it's just a really, really terrible top deck. So I'm gonna cut all the birds, and it's already starting to look really, really good. Jund. Jund pretty much always wins with combat, so I do kind of like Worship. They can often deal with our creatures, but with Ephemerate it can be and Ice Fang like flashing in during combat, particularly with Teferi. Worship can kind of lock them out of games. So if there is a sort of like 60th worst card here, I could trim it for worship. But I like the potential 3-for-1 here. Siege Rhino's great. Stonehorn slows him down. I think maybe Stonehorn is good enough. Click dies. Maybe Click gets cut. But it is flash. It helps us kill Renin 6, but they can take it with Inquisition if it's a problem. We're kind of testing Click tonight, so if it's like Fringe, like maybe I'll keep it in and we'll see if it just like gets blown out. Testing Click in place of Vincer this evening. So no birds, so we're just going to need a hand with like 3 lands. That would be optimal. 3 lands, 4 snakes. Let's go. I'll keep it, man. That's pretty sick. That's an excellent opening hand. We are going to want to crack these, obviously, before an Ashiel can come down. But this is lovely. I'm going to go turn 1, Burnt in Forge Tender. Just get it on the battlefield. Be efficient with my mana. Keep. The opponent has to mulligan now for it to be fair. They did not mulligan. So if they have a fatal push, that's kind of annoying. But remember, everything in the graveyard feeds the Uro. So I'm gonna take something. Takey. Nope, just passing. It's like pump faking me. Land off the top for this really smooth start. Nah, a little clunky, but we can get there. I'm gonna attack here. And yeah, I mean, just like, again, I don't really care about push on this thing. It's not a big deal. I think if they play Renin 6, I would just flash in the Coatl, and then I can purge on my turn, attack with the Ice Fang. Definitely going to crack this Misty either way, whether for the Purge or for the Coatl. Would love to draw another land. Actually, if the opponent thought teases me at some... Oh, hey, opponent kept 7 lands. Sorry, 1 land in 7. Gotta feel pretty bad. Opponent, you have officially been caught red-handed. You guys can all laugh at the opponent right now. I mean, it's not all like sealed up. I still only have 2 lands, but still, that's embarrassing. You got me. Feels like that. Oh man, it feels like that would have been better spent on the pro-red creature. Soulherder's cool and all, but Uro is cooler. I think just getting green-blue is correct here, so that whether I draw... I already have green, and blue, so actually, how am I going to do this? If I get just like green-white, or just green, then I need to draw blue. So I think I'm just going to get green-blue, and then if we draw a forest, we're good. And if we draw an island, we're good to cast Uro. Uro gaining life just kind of offsets getting all these shock lands. All right. Uro in the house. Opponent, you gonna scoop yet? Gonna play it out to the bitter end? Sick. I mean, maybe they got like super cocky because it just completely steamrolled me in game 1, but punished. This Vista will be getting a forest. Uh-oh. Man, opponent. It's embarrassing yourself now. Ah, well, you got me. Feed that graveyard. Dun, dun, dun. Here comes... I cast Uro now just so they can't like cheese me out with like a Cling to Dust or something. I've got more Coatls than I do Burrington, so I'm going to leave Burrington there. I like that card. Oh, man. It's pretty good. What do you got? What do you got? We got fetch land into another Fatal Push, maybe? Scooping? That seems like a reasonable reasonable play. Opponent. Just like, now it's time for me to embarrass you. If I don't play this, then I just I have to pitch, so I'm gonna play it. I've got that many cards in my hand. What now? What now, brown cow? That's probably not gonna be good enough. Probably not going to be good enough. But I'm going to give the opponent the option to block. You want to block? And then I'll demoralize you when I purge when you don't block. No blocks? All right. Opponent just gave up. Like, nothing changed on the board state. They just reconsidered their life choices. All right, so the thing is, that was an amazing hand, and I was on the play, and the opponent kept one land. So hopefully the opponent will continue to exercise extremely poor judgment, and we'll win game 3. But we have a couple minutes to breathe. So, let's craft the best opening hand against Jund, and then the deck will give it to us. So something like maybe like forest, island, I don't know, like a fetch or 2 to fuel the Uro. So let's say 3 lands, Uro, that's 4 cards, that's already busted. 2 snakes, and I don't know, an Eternal Witness, just to make their Inquisitions like impossible. Yeah, 3 lands. I mean, let's get Veil of Summer somewhere, and let's say 2 lands. 2 lands, 2 snakes, Uro, maybe a path. I don't know, there's so many good cards. So I don't want to get too greedy. Is a good matchup. Let's hope that the deck gives us a playable opening 7. All right. Opponent on the play. I think we're slightly behind on time, but we've got like 15 minutes or something silly. Now this is interesting. Opponent starting with 7, but we've seen how poor their judgment is in the past. It's got the removal. As I said, Teferi is pretty bonkers. Pithing Needle to turn off the Wrenn and 6. This is not going to be castable for like 5 turns. If we draw lands, this is pretty good. These 3 cards are excellent, really excellent, and we've got all the colored requirements for playing Teferi. So, any thoughts from the chat about the strength or weakness of this hand? Opponent did snap keep their 7, but remember they kept 7 in last game too. So, I'm slightly leaning towards mulliganing, I think. But imagine mulliganing this, getting no lands, and having to go to 5 or something. It would be pretty miserable. Yeah, true. It is reactive. It's super reactive. It's 100% reactive. Our deck tends to be pretty reactive. And you know what? We can mulligan to Uro, which is just bonkers. I think I'm probably going to mulligan. You talk me into it. Yikes. But I'm keeping this, though, guys. This is where we keep the one-lander. We're on the draw, unlike the opponent last game. El Kipo, and we'll just bottom one of these Ephemerates. Thing is, I have like hundreds of matches with this deck under my belt, and I know that this is a semi-reasonable keep on 6. Jund not okay. Ephemerate's a sick card, and I'm not going to crack this Vista for a little while. This is the kind of hand that can just like dig us out of almost any hole. Deck needs to cooperate, though. I feel much better about drawing a second land in the first 2 cards on the top of the deck than I do about mulliganing to 5. So, opponent off to a great start with the early Ren. Oh, Tarmogoyf. Cool. I called that incorrectly. So, a 1-2 Tarmogoyf. Sort of okay. We're not going to crack this. Let's see. All right. So, you do get punished sometimes. It's totally fine. Opponent's not going bonkers yet. We've gone 3 draws without a land at this point. Looks like Tarmogoyf is just hitting for 1. It's gonna get increasingly significant with these draws. Oh man, thank God. Thank God. All right, guys, it's a game. We got a game. It does take experience to know when to keep that 1-lander, I think. This is why I did not play out a Snaky Boy yet. So if there's another land in the top 2 cards, that would just be really, really cool. This Tarmogoyf really not presenting a clock yet. No. All right, Kale, that's fair. I take that hit. But Jund, I don't think is ever justified in keeping a 1-lander. They don't have the kind of cards that can dig them out of that the way that we do, I don't think. Right? Is that a fair assessment? Plus, I was on a mulligan to 6, and the opponent kept their 7, which is just ultra greedy, is it not? Opponent certainly has a bolt or a push or something. It's kind of fine. All right, well, let's go lands. Yes. All right, so now I'm going to attack Ren, and then I've got another snake to flash in. I've got an Ephemerate up. So hopefully you guys see the difference between my keep on 1 land and the opponent's keep on 1 land. I could also try to ghost block, but they have the removal on board with Ren, so that's what I'm going to spend my Ephemerate on, unless they go for it right now, in which case I'm going to Ephemerate right now. Although I could just play Witness needs to wait a little bit. I guess we make them spend another piece of removal. I mean, if they don't have it, they just crack that. Like, if they had the bolt, they would probably just go bolt, right? Oh, man. All right. Things slowly turning around. The Goyf is a little bit bigger. All we really need is, like, an Uro, and this game just, like, takes a hard turn in our direction. Unfortunately, the snake is going to bite the dust, but that does mean that Ren is ticking down. Remember, opponents on there, they kept 7. I mulled to the 1-lander. Fair enough. You got me, opponent. We can start to go get basics to have a hope at turning on Death Touch. All right, let's see what they discard. I mean, we are still digging out the hole that we got ourselves into. Opponent pitched 2 lands. All right, so still not a ton of pressure, but they did get 2 redraws there. I'm not going to block, so unfortunately, can't really deal with this Tarmogoyf. Actually, some removal off the top would be pretty decent as well. Pithing Needle could be okay. We are going to have to fight for every inch, I think, here. Come on, give me an Oro. Opponent, you can't. What are you doing, man? You can't do that. They couldn't have another one, could they? That would be wild. All right. All right. Well, we've got a lot of good cards in hand. And we're drawing more cards. Oh, no, well, actually, that one got countered. All right, so let's see. What's the play here? Opponent's got the clock. That is pretty frightening. We don't have any more flash. I could... I mean, we play Soulherder, blink Coatl, but then I'm taking damage to go get... I feel like... I mean, it could just be Eternal Witness, get back Ephemerate, and then next turn we can go get... could also just get back Coatl, and then between... this guy's going to die to Wrenn and 6. I really hate losing to Jund. They don't have another push, so play Soulherder, get white mana, blue-white, go down to 7. I'm dead to Wrenn plus damage, but then I have 2 creatures on the board, so potentially blocking. I think I like the sequencing that I laid out a little bit better. We play this, and then we get the Ice Fang back. We keep putting up these blockers. Next turn, we would be able to cast like 2 more snakes. So unfortunately, sort of priced into a bunch of chump blocking here, I think. Wrenn is getting out ahead of us. We missed one of our land drops. It came 1 draw late. Actually, taking that creature out of the graveyard shrinks the Tarmogoyf, but I'm sure that the opponent is going to get a creature back into the graveyard. I think next turn is the turn where I play multiple snakes. Praying for a top deck land. I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. So we just kind of have to fade, like, bolts. Anything that hits our life total. Spellbomb is whatever. Like, we already used 1 Eternal Witness. I think also that I'm priced into I'm not chump blocking here. Because I can actually get another basic and then have Death Touch next turn. So again, we're hoping to dodge damage effects, maybe draw some life gain. Opponent has Uro covered here now. I could flash in this... Oh, what's happening here? Boil... Interesting. That's going to take away my Death Touch for a moment. But, I mean, 4 mana to blow up a land, it's fine-ish. Opponent with the tech, though. Jesus, look at these draws. Oh my god. Really could use some life gain here. So get an island, play a Coatl. Actually, Actually, I leave this up. Let the opponent kind of attack, or rather go after one, think Death Touch is off, play another one, kill both of their creatures, play Teferi. So many cards in hand. I do need to play this Coatl, and I need to sort of bank on like the. I mean, alternatively, right? I can just bounce like a Goyf, get a little bit of time, like get blue here to turn on Death Touch, bounce the Goyf, draw an extra card, hope that the opponent throws like their attacks at Teferi for a minute. But drawing cards isn't that amazing here. I got to play semi-fast. If I can get Teferi down, untap, and then untap, not just die, it's kind of sick, because then I can get Eternal Witness, Ephemerates, and just sort of really get going. Oh, but they have Nile Spellbomb up, so Eternal Witness not the best here. I think I like the Coatl line the best here, guys. But playing Teferi uses the mana the most efficiently. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Coatl line. I'll pitch one of these Teferis. It's a bit of a tell, in a sense, because it just shows them that I've got gas. All right, so Coatl down. It's got more removal now. It's pretty nasty. An Ephemerate would be so great if any of these cards was Ephemerate. All right, so they're digging for removal, which is very possible. Oh my god, do we get away with this for the time being? Oh, come on. Come on, don't... All right. That's something. I hate how low my life total is. Jesus. All right, dead to Ren in 6. Dead to Ren in 6 now. Are they just what? Okay, Tarmogoyf. So I got a lot of work to do. Oh my god. Oh, man. So all of our lands in hand are offline for the time being. The only hope is that I draw a top deck. Jesus, this is terrible. I think I might just be toast. We somehow didn't draw any of our Oros, any of our chords. Oh man, I hate it. I hate it. Oh, I guess I play Oracle, and then I need to draw like Purge, basically. Or like, oh my god. Oh, it's so close. I mean, I guess alternatively, I could have played like Teferi, bounce the Tarmogoyf, drawn a card, but it's really just about getting to that top card. I'm just going through my possible outs. I'm pretty sure it's just GG here. I could have sworn the opponent killed one of my snakes. How did they also ping my face? Didn't they ping my face? Did they play another Ren? Nah. They had the lightning bolt. That was significant. I guess, did they not ping my face? I don't know. Whatever. I can't crack my fetch lands. I can, but I'll die. I can't play this or this or this. I can't do anything with that. So now we just pass to the opponent and hope that they don't see the line. Actually, they kill my Oracle anyway and attack for the win, so I did my best, guys. I hate losing to Jund. I really, really hate it. If they didn't have that lightning bolt, this would be a totally different situation. Even if they just had Goif Goif or something like that, totally had that covered. Yeah. All right, anyhow, 1-1. I'll be right back. I don't think the opponent would have taken a line where they had lethal on board and not gone for it. So I could have passed the turn, but I don't know. Like, the opponent played well enough that I wouldn't put... I mean, I thought they pinged my face with Ren, but now on second thought, I don't. That's not the case. I think when I saw my life total change, it was just from the lightning bolt. So the thing that really did me in there, unfortunately, was that I mulled to 6, keeping 1 land. I think it's totally the correct call. It had like 4 snakes in hand. But I missed exactly 1 land drop. Like, if I had hit that land 1 turn earlier, started establishing value earlier, like, I would have run away with the game. Without exaggeration, it would have been totally one-sided. But the fact that the opponent got 2 turns, like, with me doing absolutely nothing, it can't really recover from that. I almost recovered from it, but if one of those lands in my hand was a basic and I didn't have to hit my life total, I could have cast Deputy of Detention, which could have taken the Ren and 6 away, and then chumped the Tarmogoyf, and then played like 3 creatures the next turn. Another thing that went their way in that match was that they had like the Beyond Utter Nuts in the first game, which put me on the back foot, because even if I win the second game, then they're starting in game 3, and I think they just kept 7 each game. This is oh my god! I made it to the end of the hand, and man, snakes are like the single most important card to have in the opening hand, but not like this, I don't think. If this was a mulligan to 6, it would be like a borderline keep, but on 7, I have to mulligan it, I think. And then, you get rewarded by making intelligent decisions like that. So opponent's keeping 7. We're going to keep as well. And just on the hope of playing a turn 2 Teferi, I could keep the birds and the Teferi and bottom one of the snakes. But the birds are like the least important part. They're the most disruptible part. And I'm not on the play anyway. So I think I'm just going to ship the birds and ride to like Value Town. So birds to the bottom. Let me hear it, guys. Okay, maybe another shadow deck, in which case this hand is pretty nutty and just got a little bit nuttier. So again, the line we typically want to take with my build in particular is green-white into blue, because we have Teferi that wants blue-white and we have Deputy that wants blue-white. Oh, Jesus. What are my opponents doing this evening? Not winning. Except except for the jump player, they won. All right. This is going to be interesting. How many archive traps do they have? Maybe they have many, many archive traps. Well, I've got an Uro now, which is kind of nice. What else you got, opponent? Another archive trap. Okay. Am I getting quad archive trapped? Well, at least it's entertaining. So now we pretty much have to hope the opponent doesn't draw a land for the rest of the game. All right, they're just checking out my stash here in the graveyard. Oh, don't do it, opponent. Oh, they're surgicling Uro, which is fine because we don't even have a third land yet, so whatever. And we've only got 2 Uros in the deck, so they're not actually milling any more cards by surgicaling. They're paying life for it, which is interesting. They might have like a I don't know, what is that card? Dive Down or another Surgical or something like that. Oh, you know what? They could be... Now, if there are any Coiling Oracles, they can take 2 Coiling Oracles out of my hand with another Surgical. That would be pretty sick. And actually, Teferi not that amazing against Mill. And it's not Shadow, so the path not amazing, particularly since the opponent is on 1 land. What else, opponent? You have another Surgical with this land? No, it doesn't look like it yet. Well, there's another Birds. Well, okay. I guess, oh, they let me draw so that they can do it again. This is nasty, taking 2 cards out of my hand, but I'm not sure if it makes up for the 1-lander. I guess we'll have to wait and see. This is actually a really tough matchup because we draw so many cards. All right, opponent, well played. We draw so many cards that Mill naturally gets ahead of us. So I'm going to bring in, I'm going to have like 68 or 69 cards. I guess, I mean, at this point, drawing cards, I mean, getting Teferi down seems reasonable so that they have to do everything like right away. So maybe playing, now that I know what I'm playing against, maybe just getting down the Birds here makes the most sense. I mean, what am I even trying to draw to? Like Force of Negations in this spot. But the opponent's hand has to be pretty exhausted. So we'd like to draw out of that kind of wrecking that they just did to our hand. So I'm going to run out the Birds. If they take my Ice Fang, that would just be pretty brutal, but I think they're actually going to win this game at this point. Like that was pretty gross. Yeah, I mean, we can just path it. I'm going to path it. Oh man, I should have checked my graveyard. Thank God I have this Hallowed Fountain here. I should check my graveyard to see what basics I have. They got one of these. I still have some basics. It's all good. Oh my God, if they have another arc, they haven't, wait, I haven't searched my deck yet this turn. Have I? Oh, I guess I did. When did I search? Oh, I guess I did to get a land. Oh my God, they have another archive trap. Wow. So now I think it's almost impossible for us to win because we can't really get a clock going. So, green, I guess? Jesus. I have never been beaten this badly by Mill, but it is a bad matchup. Remember that. Keep that in mind. So I'm gonna play Eternal Witness. It's a way to generate card advantage without actually drawing cards, and it might be able to get us there. What is happening here? Oh, that's still being targeted. Opponent is thinking on their draw. So let's play this, and I'm gonna get the thing with the most power that I can cast. So I guess that's gonna be like another Eternal Witness. And we're just on the Eternal Witness beatdown plan. Opponent, stop casting things for 1 mana, please. And don't draw land. Just stop. Just stop, please. Jeez, this is, oh my god. If they hit a land, anything just wins the game. Like they surely have like some mill spell that they can cast. Oh my god. Oh, I had a plan, guys. My plan. Maybe their hand is just full of 3-drops. I actually I guess I get force now, right? Maybe I attack first. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference. If the opponent has, well, anyhow, I guess we'll see how this goes. Little greedy not getting back force last turn, but I wasn't going to win if I don't get a board established. So come on, let it go, let it go, let it go. Opponent. Are they going to gain life? Are you crypt incursioning me? Drowning. Oh, they're countering this. Okay, all right, all right. Well played, opponent. Oh, man. I think that does it. I think that does it. Mesmeric Orb. Oh, well, yeah, because I'm getting the triggers right away. And I can't chord for, like, Knight, since Knight's not in the deck. I could chord for Deputy, but the triggers are going on the stack right away. I won't die immediately, but I'll die when I try to draw next turn. Man, opponent just hit that second land. Everybody's keeping 1 landers tonight. 0 cards in the deck. Nothing to get with Chord of Calling. But yeah, we almost had it. We almost had it with the beatdown plan, despite the insane opening. So let's bring in a handful of extra cards. And we'll see if we can do any better. Again, this is an extremely unfavorable and unpopular matchup. Doesn't really show up that often. So we're definitely going to want Knight. I think Teferi's fine. Just, again, makes the opponent just kind of do everything, and they can't respond to our counter spells with their Drown in the Locks. Purge, they don't really have black permanents. Winds, again, kind of stupid. Everything is very cheap. Veil is beautiful. That counters any of their mill spells. They could play something like Ensnaring Bridge. But again, we have Deputy and Knight for that. I'll even bring in Ceremonious just to hit that Mesmeric Orb. So we've got 4 cards on top of our 60. I'm not taking anything out. Everything stays in. Now, is anything else sort of good? Yeah, I guess that could be good. Good call, Jackie Chen. Next level. If I get Teferi down, right, then they can't trap me on our turn. So I've got 2 Teferis. They could play like Ashiok. So I'm gonna bring in the Pithing Needles just cause. I can even name like their fetch lands and potentially catch them off guard. Polluted Delta, right? I mean, in all likelihood, most of the cards I'm bringing in and most of the ones in the deck are just going to get milled. So it's just diluting the deck slightly. I don't think either of these are good as like 1-drop attacking creatures. I do leave in the paths to kill their crabs, because crabs are like a good way for them to get like super far ahead. All right, we'll run it back like this. Keep in mind, guys, super unfavorable matchup. Not really a lot that we can do against it. We can hope to draw our counter spells, hope that they mulligan and draw poorly. Yeah, all right. So unfortunately, we're going to have to mulligan to 6, but that's fine. It just means we start with one more card in the deck. Jesus. Opponent's mulliganing to 6 as well. Yeah, we can't keep this, so we have to mulligan again. All right, this is gas. Gasalicious. So I like birds and then just click them like right away on like the second draw step. I do have to bottom 2 cards here. I like keeping Uro because he's the bomb. I think I'll probably just bottom the pool and hope that they don't have a push for birds. If they have a push for birds, whatever. Like, we're playing against a bad matchup. We're on a mulligan to 5. And I think Click as a beater is just going to be better than Eternal Witness getting something back from the graveyard. Shipping a good card from their hand. All right, so let's see how it goes, guys. Are they going to archive trap me again? That card, man. Archive trap. All right, well, we dodged a bullet for the time being. Opponent. No, play a land. Okay. It's just like, I thought they kept a no lander. So I think we can probably chill. Oh, path is so awkward. Can probably chill on Uro for the moment. I think I'm just going to click them, and again, get like a clock on the board. Just crack this now. Oh yeah, cause maybe I should have done it on their turn. I guess it doesn't make a difference. I'm so confused. We're gonna do draw step stop here. Draw step. What do you got? What do you got, opponent? Push for the what? What's happening? Oh, get out of here. So nasty. All right, well, the path is what we... Now, we've got 3 cards in our graveyard. They could drown this, so I think I'm just going to path it now. It's just too important of a card. Like, yeah, it gives them a land, and they like to have their lands, but stupid Hedron Crab is just too good. All right, so it's going to be a bit of a grind from here on out. You can see why it's kind of a poor matchup. But we're at 57 cards for the time being. It's like an Ashiok just continuing to wreck me. It's just like... Opponents have had great stuff this evening. So now Uro is just bad. I guess we could draw Pithing Needle, but I don't really want to draw Pithing Needle. That's pretty good. That's a start. It's a clock. We've got the Ephemerate up to protect. You know, Ashiok is it's probably main deck for them, right? As a mill deck? I imagine it probably is main deck. The Knight of Autumn got exiled. That's something to keep in mind. Field is a forced search, so they can get me if they have an archive trap at this point. But they have 3 cards in hand. Uro is just like basically a redraw. The life gain is pretty insignificant. And this is fine, but it means we're getting trapped probably. More green seems fine. I mean, you know, we don't. There's so many different cards we could draw. We've got birds too. Drowning my birds. Whatever. If they have a push also, then like not a lot we can do. Okay, so at least we got the Ephemerate to cast. All right. Let's get some value. Opponent apparently pushless. 45 cards in the deck. We're going to catch the rebound, not be able to attack Ashiok yet. Of course, I would not be surprised if the opponent plays something like Damnation or Bontu's Last Reckoning, in which case you would just scoop, you know. Pithing Needle is kind of cool, and we can play it. So start off with Pithing Needle. Sick Rubbins. But we're pretty much still losing this game. Do they have a push? Like, oh, extirpating. All right. So that's basically mill 3. That's fine. Still have 40 cards in the deck. Opponent's on 1 card, and their only permanent is about to get shut off. What is this guy's name? Dream Render. It'd be pretty stupid if I named the wrong one. Go Soulherder. Show him what we can do. You guys still with me over there? It's a little quiet in the chat. trying to claw our way into this ridiculous matchup. Opponent with a weird play. Like, I don't know that I love the field of Ruin when they don't have like Archive Trap in hand. Are we just gonna straight up kill Ashiok right now? I'm gonna attack Ashiok down. So they probably don't have any way to deal with Pithing Needle, and I don't really need to search my deck yet. I do love that Veil. That Veil is beautiful. Let's kill Ashiok. Like, if they have like a Snapcaster, that'd be ridiculous. All right, so now we play birds. Don't really need to draw cards in this spot beyond what we're doing with Coiling Oracle. Just chill with Veil. If opponent draws a mill spell, we get to counter it with Veil of Summer. The only thing that really gets us is like Damnation. That would just be really dirty. Siege Rhino. Let's go. Let's go Siege Rhino. End this game sooner. Field of Ruin. Not amazing. White mana, we can go get white, so that's fine. They haven't cast any spells this turn. I'll go ahead and just float green, because whatever. And we will get a basic planes, because we want to be able to cast El Siege Rhino. Okay, all right. So nothing to do with my mana. Opponent about to get Siege Rhino'd, and we can all cheer the Siege Rhino. Beauty. And I'm not playing any games. I'm just going to blink the Siege Rhino with Soulherder. Like, we're going from 17 to 0 in as few turns as possible. Unfortunately, I don't have Veil up right now, but I don't think there's really, I mean, apart from, like, this isn't going to counter Damnation anyway. Actually, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This guy's going to be 4, 8, 9. Almost got lethal, but I'm not settling for almost. I think I'm just going to... So opponent can draw like 1 mill spell and lose. Well, they can draw a bunch of cards, but they only get to draw 1 card. 1 card. All right. Yes. Fringe deck versus Fringe deck. Who will win? Well, we started that game, I think, with 68 cards. Pithing Needle was actually gas. Stop the opponent from being able, like, getting value mills out of their Ashiok. So, I think we just run it back. We actually mulliganed that game to 5, maybe 6. I can't remember. But Ashiok actually gives us more cards to bring in, which is quite nice. I like having cards. All right. Yeah, seems okay. Seems okay. We even had a path for their little crab. Oh, well, I guess so. Kind of sketchy, because they tend to rip the archive traps when I don't even have mana. Aw, man. Opponent starting with 7. Am I gonna keep the one lander like I did against Jund and almost got there? We could immediately have Ice Fang for another redraw. Celestial Purge for Ashiok. I don't think it's good enough. I think we have to mulligan. All right, this is significantly better. And by significantly, I mean significantly. I really want to keep the path in hand because, again, the crab is like the card that hits us maybe the hardest. Cord is the pitch here. All right, guys, we got a playable hand here. Yeah, so I'm gonna upkeep that. They have. Damn. Maybe I have to chill on the birds. I think I'm just going to path this thing on their upkeep. They have like Mystical Dispute, which can't hit path right now, and Drown in the Lock, which can't hit anything right now. So, because I'm probably just going to go. Like we can't really afford to play around Hedron Crab and Archive Traps. So if they've got the Archive Traps, let them rip. Gonna go get like green white on their upkeep, I guess. Let me have it. Archive Trap me. Spell Pierce. Don't do it, opponent. Don't do me dirty like that. Come on. There we go. Beauty. All right. So, Hedron Crab down for the time being. That card is truly a menace. It does not have menace. It is a menace. All right, whatever. Okay, how many of those do you have? So cheesy. Just one. And they kept a one lander again. I don't know what this guy's doing. Cord, we just put you on the bottom. I don't want you. Do not want. So they did not rip multiple archive traps right away. So I'm gonna play this. You know what? I think I just play the Oracle here. Sort of have to. If they have Mystical Dispute, that's a bit of a blowout. Okay, all right, land. Well, Witness is okay. So let's see if the opponent, well, let's see what they have, I guess. I'm at 44 cards, which I think is less than we had at the end of the last game. Opponent has a third land. Fortunately, Path actually didn't ramp them into stuff. All right, so we're going to mill 2 from Mesmeric Orb, but we can eventually get a Cord to blow that up. They have not milled like Knight. Another Oracle is pretty good. We just kind of want to get to a nice Cord. So getting down 2 creatures actually seems pretty good. I think I'll start with the Oracle. And I might not even attack, just to like... Oh, Deputy is pretty cool. That means I don't have to Cord next turn. I mean, we are fighting on the axis of life, and they're fighting on the axis of mill, so I don't know if the attack is worth it here. The one card. I'm gonna not attack. I'm gonna not attack. Opponent knows I have the deputy. And they milled a Fatal Push, which is pretty cool. That's a card that could be annoying. Okay, all right. Well, let's see what they've got, I guess. Maybe they're waiting to push the deputy. So like an Ephemerate would be amazing here. Kind of makes me think that I should play the Eternal Witness first. You know, I could also just play Teferi and bounce the Mesmeric Orb. They're kind of playing pretty hard, like they have, like, I could just see what they have, and then like on their end step or my end step, try to chord for Knight to blow up Mesmeric Orb. If they counter it or something, then we can untap and play Deputy. All right, so I think we're just chilling on Chord of Calling for right now. Come on, tap a bunch of your lands to go Field of Ruin, and then I'll respond with Chord, and we'll blow up your Mesmeric Orb. Nice, let's do it. Okay. What? Okay, all right. So they're going to draw 3 cards, which is really nasty. But we're dealing with one of their most difficult cards here. I'm sorry. Did I miss that the Knight? Oh my god, the Knight is in the graveyard, guys. Getting punished here, but I can go get it from the graveyard. I'm going to get hit for so much by Mesmeric Orb. All right, I don't know. I should have checked. That was poor. I don't think we're out of it quite yet. I think it really sort of matters what the opponent is working with over there, but they are going to have 7 cards. If they try to kill one of my creatures, I might path to get my mana opened up a little bit. They could have drawn, they're extirpating what, Soulherder? Can't really respond to that. All right. It's only 2 cards. It's not really a very powerful mill spell. Man, I thought I was going to blow this up. It's kind of stupid that it's still on the battlefield. And our mana is a little bit constrained. We're going to get milled for 5 as things stand. Opponent with a full grip. No forces in hand. Another Field of Ruin. They're going to draw 3 more cards. Nasty. So playing a Crab would actually be pretty good for us here, because it actually does something with our mana and with the spells that we have. This is such a miserable matchup. Fine. Veil is in the bin. You know, I might just want to path one of my creatures anyway to open up my mana a little bit. I will check, you know, what's been dealt with here, basics wise. We've got 2 forests. I think there should be 1 forest left. But what am I casting next turn? If I draw a land, I've got 6 mana. If I path one of these oracles, I didn't have any more forests. That's sketchy. Oh man, I'm out of this, guys. I can't win this game. Too many triggers. And I didn't even draw land. So I mean, I don't know. We didn't really draw the cards that we needed, I think. Hand is just chock full of 3 drops. And they're going to push something. Oh my god. Opponent. So nasty. Alright, so apparently I have no more forests, and the only basic... I have no more basics left in the deck. I might have some shocks or whatever. It's another thing that we have to deal with, but we have a deputy, so it's just like mill 3 right now, I think. Okay, mill 3 more. Deputy is an excellent answer to this. But if they have another push... Oh, wait. It's at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep. Wow. All right, so that could be just it, I guess. I don't think I can deal enough damage in time. Rhino is... Oh my god. What is going on? You don't have another push. Okay, guys. It's been fun. It actually hasn't been fun at all. It's been really stupid and miserable. All right. So I said it at the beginning, it's a pretty bad matchup for us. Like, our plan is to draw cards. Their plan is for us to draw cards into the graveyard. Yeah, so starting the league off, unfortunately, poorly, 1 and 2, but I'm going to keep going. Give me 1 sec. All right, so kind of a weird league so far. Pretty easy first round against Grixis Shadow, and then we lost to the nuts against Jund. On what I thought was a very good mulligan to 1. We whiffed on lands for 1 turn, which I guess created a bit of a hole, and we weren't able to climb out because the opponent was able to keep pressure. And then this is just a terrible matchup. Mill. I mean, Mill has to be like 1 in 50 or something. So unfortunately, the 1-2 start doesn't feel great. Well, our second opponent, the Jund guy, is sitting on 2 trophies, so respectable. And this guy, I think, doesn't have any. So the thing about leagues is that as you lose, you get paired against opponents who are, in theory, also losing. So it makes going breaking sort of positive, like 3-2. It makes it manageable to keep a positive win rate, because right now I should get paired against somebody who's negative, but for all I know, people who are negative are just going to be playing Mill, and I'll just keep losing. So Brew 182. 2 of my trophies are with this list that I'm playing with 2 minor modifications. So yes, 2 of the trophies with Soulherder, 1 of them with Merfolk. All 3 of them within the last couple of weeks. I also had 2 4-0s with this list and lost the 5th round. Both of those 4-0s pretty recently as well, so the deck has felt great. For any of you guys who haven't joined me before, welcome to the stream. If you'd like to follow, that would be awesome. I stream Soulherder on Monday nights and Merfolk on Wednesday nights. Currently sitting around 187 followers or something like that, and really would love to get to 190 this evening, and my big goal is like around 200. I'm trying to get a small sponsorship. Would be kind of cool to just be supported by, you know, some kind of big player in the Magic game. So obviously I'm a really small streamer, just below 200 followers still. If you guys subscribe, I do have some custom emotes that you get access to. All 3 of them are Soulherder themed. We won the die roll. That's awesome. And this is a really nice opening hand, so we're going to keep. Potential for the turn 2 click on the draw step. Opponent with an impressive avatar means that they win sometimes. I think we'll just open up with Forest here. Seems good. So again, those avatars, there's like a Soulherder laughing avatar that I designed. It's like that traditional like Twitch LOL emote, but I drew a Soulherder laughing. There's an emote for Ephemerate, and then there's an emote for Orion, which is actually, all right, well, hopefully this is another good matchup. I'd prefer that they don't take my Ice Fang, but if they do, I can just click them on their draw step and hopefully take away like a Renin 6 or something like that. So at this point, we've got our mana completely sorted, and we would just, oh, they took the click. That's funny. I guess they have like a Renin 6 that they would love to resolve. So I was starting to say we have our mana completely sorted, and would really prefer not to draw lands from here on out. Opponent knows my hand, so just like fetching is whatever here. So if it's Renin 6 again, that's kind of annoying. The hand started off nicely, but we're starting to flood a little bit. I will play this now just to draw a card. If they have removal for it immediately, like, fine. There's a line of thought that might keep the Coatl in hand to dodge removal and draw Ephemerate. Stonehorn is fun. It's kind of funny. We can play out our hand now. My wife just came home and I said hello. So I guess I'm just going to empty my hand here, but I'll start by attacking. I'm not sure which land the opponent knew about. That was a little bit lazy. Still totally possible that it's like Death Shadow and I'm just helping them get to 13 here. But if we draw like a Chord of Calling with like infinite mana on the board, could be good. Could be good. Even like an Uro would be amazing in this spot. So here's Canopy Vista, an untapped dual land. People ask sometimes why I play the Canopy Vista, and it's just a dual land that if you sequence your lands correctly, doesn't hurt you. and that's pretty powerful. So this Stonehorn here is pretty stupid, but there's no reason to keep it in hand. We are a blink deck, so using our mana this turn. Is this a Terminate or something? All right, whatever. Again, pretty stupid. So now I'm pretty sure this is going to be just Jund, like not Jund Shadow. Is this a Liliana? If it is, I will definitely... Well, they're not going to minus if it's a Lily. Maybe they would. Let's see. I mean, plussing seems better here because I can just kill her. Fair enough, opponent. Filling up the graveyard. So, Raging Ravine. Seems like a strange card to pitch. Force... it's weird because opponent's gonna like minus me, right? And I'm just gonna have to lose my force. So we can hope that they just like jam a Renin 6, they get excited, and we can just force it right away. Like going empty-handed to counterspell is pretty unlikely. Come on, play a spell, please. Play a spell. Play a spell. Blah. They pitched another Raging Ravine. Aw, man. That turns off my Uro angle. Hey, El Rodeo-san. Welcome to the stream. I'm playing against Jund for the second time this evening. It's one of our best matchups, or I should say better. It's north of 50%, but I mean, look what I've been drawing. 3 birds, a bunch of lands, 1 snake, and this thing. So, really pretty poor. I have to play the land. It gives me Death Touch, potentially preventing them from attacking, but I have to keep this Liliana temporarily in check. So, not really worried about the Scavenging Ooze damaging me right now. Are you gonna, like, push this guy? All right, so we're both empty-handed right now. That's kind of a good place to be. I feel favored against Jund when we're empty-handed. The problem is that the Scavenging Ooze is keeping some of our best top decks at bay. Like Eternal Witness, or Court of Calling for Eternal Witness. So right now, if we were to draw like a Court of Calling, we would have to... if we were to draw a Court of Calling, we would have to get just something that doesn't really involve the graveyard, basically. So best top deck here is probably Path to Exile. Failing that, a Court of Calling for like a Deputy of Detention, something like that. Siege Rhino would also be solid-ish to keep me in the game. Actually, the best draw would be Hostage Taker. Hostage Taker would be really beautiful here. But you can see the deck is not cooperating. Currently sitting at 1 and 2. Losing game 1 to Jund is really not the end of the world. We still definitely have a good chance to win the match. It's because it's a favorable matchup. We're just getting terrible draws in this first game. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. Okay, not giving up yet. Opponent could ultimate the Lily, which would mean, what, that we get to keep our force in hand, which could do something. Okay, so we're both just drawing garbage. So just to not lose to like a top deck Bolt or something dumb like that, I think I can throw one of these guys under the bus right now. And still, like, I guess the Lily ultimate is pretty nasty. Soulherder is terrible, because I don't have any value creatures to blink. Okay, opponent, you got it. So once again, welcome to anybody who's new to the stream. I really appreciate you guys joining me this evening. It's Monday Night Soulherder. I'm playing some Soulherder, blinking some things right now with Soulherder. So it's nice to play like actually cast Soulherder, but it's not doing anything right now. An opponent just with the sick top decks after drawing like 4 lands. So at this point, Liliana can ultimate. Pretty terrible. All right, separate him, opponent. Lands and creatures, is that how we're doing it? Leave it like that. Leave the piles like that. Now, you guys, I mean, maybe somebody will learn something in this stream. The pile that you choose is the pile that you sacrifice. It's a pretty nasty thing. It's like, oh, I want to keep this, so you click that, but no, that's going to get sacrificed. Okay, so just make sure that you guys know that if Lily ever ultimates, I'm choosing what to sacrifice right now. Obviously, I have to choose this, but then he gets to eat my graveyard. Oh, it's terrible. I think it's just over, guys. I'm gonna concede. Now, that was not a case of Jun just having the nuts. That was the case of just the deck giving me 3 Birds of Paradise and 5 lands. Just pretty rough indeed. So to continue what I was saying earlier, thank you guys for those of you who are new to the stream. Trying to get more followers. I do stream Soulherder on Mondays and Merfolk on Wednesdays very regularly, usually starting around 7:45, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you give me a follow, you'll get notified when I start a stream. I do have a lot of nice stuff to bring in against Jund. Just need to draw some of it, you know? Just need to draw some of it. So I take out all my forces against Jund. I don't really like going down on cards in the matchup. I also take out all my birds because, as you saw in that match, they're really kind of unnecessary, or that game, I should say. I think that Night of Autumn, there's a case to be made just as like a beater or a way to like blink and gain life with Ephemerate, that kind of thing. I don't really love Ether Gust. I don't love Tempo against attrition decks because they're just gonna put their dope card on the top and like whatever, you know, like you get one. Oh, I do like Burrenton. That's the 60th card. The Jund is really red heavy these days with Seasoned Pyromancer, Renin 6, and Bloodbraid Elf. So Burrenton can often put up a nice fight. Doesn't die to Terminate. We just saw Terminate out of the opponent's deck. It pretty much only dies to Fatal Push, maybe Collective Brutality, maybe like a Lily Last Hope minus. But I think this setup is just fine. We want to see like 3 lands, a couple snakes, maybe like an Eternal Witness and a Veil of Summer in the opening hand. And the opponent had the hand disruption to take my click, which let them get... All right, this is great. This is really great. It took me a second to sort of see exactly what was happening in this hand. But Teferi, for those of you a little bit unfamiliar with how Soulherder operates, is really sick. I mean, first of all, it's going to let me cast Wind of Abandon on the opponent's turn, but also it just turns Ephemerate into this amazing counter spell plus value. Opponent's mulliganing to 6. Well, I've got a few more viewers this evening than normal, so really appreciate all you guys tuning in. I'm currently playing against Jund. We're down a game. It's an excellent matchup, but all I drew was Birds of Paradise and lands in the first game. So we got to think about land sequencing here. This looks like one where I would start with white, blue, and then green, and then we need to go get like more blue or white with this, basically. So I guess I'll do it like that. We're sort of fine on land, so I'm going to crack this now, thin the deck a little bit. So I said I was going to get blue-white with the Hallowed Fountain. And then we'll wait until the opponent plays Renin 6, because they always do, to play the Coatl. 2 Coatls. The more snakes, the higher your chances of winning this matchup. So chances significantly reasonable is what I would say. And it looks like we're getting Teferi down, which is awesome. And there's no need to minus him to sort of draw desperately. So we can just plus him and make him really hard for them to remove. another land here is not the worst. All right, snake down, snaky snake, bite in the dust. Uro. So this is how this deck usually. This is how we usually match up against Jund. I mean, it would be better. I mean, they might have Ren and 6 here, but honestly, I feel like we're still ahead. I'm gonna get a basic island, and then next turn I can fetch Canopy Vista untapped. And I'm just definitely jamming Teferi here. One of the recent changes I made to the deck was changing out the main deck Knight of Autumn for a single main deck Teferi. The Knight of Autumn just went to the sideboard. It's a great card and great in the metagame against all the Stoneforge decks, but Teferi is just like, it's one of those cards in Modern that people talk about like banning all the time. I actually had a poll on my Twitter. You guys can see my Twitter down below if you have Twitter. I actually kind of hate Twitter, but since I started streaming more, I felt like it was a reasonable way to expand my reach, be able to chat with more of you guys. So Twitter name is down below. It's just Twitter/MerfolkJoe. Not exactly sure why I started talking about Twitter. Lost my train of thought. Oh, I had a Teferi poll on Twitter, right? Yeah, it's a pretty stupid card. I really hate it. Is this Liliana and we're gonna battle? Oh, it's Pyromancer. That guy doesn't bother me whatsoever. So now we've got Teferi down. If we draw Ephemerate, some of you guys get to see like the bonkers interaction between Teferi and Ephemerate, basically. No Ephemerate yet, but we can get on Death Touch if we want. Maybe it's just time to cast Uro. See if I can. Now let's see. We're going to tick Teferi up here. Still, I can flash in at least one blocker if I want to do that with the Ice Fang Coatl. And then if I tick up Teferi, I can do instant speed Winds, which seems fine. And actually, it's not terrible to just cast Winds as a bad path to exile, because we have lots of ways to access our graveyard. Well, lots. We have 3 Eternal Witnesses and chords to get the Eternal Witnesses. So I think just holding up Ice Fang seems fine here. And we'll see what we draw off of Ice Fang in combat. If it's an Ephemerate, we can block and then Ephemerate, which is probably like the best way to go. And then having an Ice Fang on board, we're hopefully going to be able to play Soulherder for value. So yeah, I think I'll just tick up the Teferi. We'll pass the turn. Currently even on the opponent with time. If this is Bloodbraid, that could be sort of bad for us. And opponent's really thinking about this shock. So if it was Bloodbraid, it would just be a Windmill Slam. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. Okay, so no Bloodbraid for the time being. All right, plan is unfolding. What do we got going on here? Attack Teferi, attack Teferi. See, this is what Teferi does. What will you give me, Ice Fang Coatl? So exiling the Pyromancer is decent because it prevents him from being able to, ooh, another one. That's kind of cool. I think I'll just play another Coatl here, honestly. Yes, good call, good call. So now we'll have Death Touch. And I think, I'm not sure if I just want to Winds. Well, we're building towards like a big Winds, so I will just cast this thing now. Hopefully hit a land. So I think drawing cards is actually the way to go here. I am going to block one of these because I don't want Teferi to be within bolt range. But I'm fine with him taking one. That's sort of okay. Graveyard is stocked. We've got green, green, blue, blue for Uro. Tarmogoyf is totally whatever. Okay, fair enough. Push my snake. I got my value out of the snake already. So, land is kind of cool. We do want to hit our land drops. We're getting pretty close to being able to Winds. So I could just like, if I just bounce the Tarmogoyf, this guy stays at 2. If I tick him up again, we can play like Soulherder. We can path. I kind of feel like minusing. But maybe not. I don't love him getting within bolt range. We're holding up path no matter what. We can go get like green black. So I don't want to fall behind on time. I'm gonna tick him up. I'm going to play Soulherder, which is not that great here. Because I'm not going to block with it. Canopy Vista, Painless Dual Land. Chord for like another Coatl is actually another line, but I kind of like pathing something here. Just let them fill up the graveyard. And then we start playing Uro. Opponent might want to fire up the Raging Ravine. Oh, just going straight to combat. I like it. I can dig it. Like, look at how this guy sucks up resources. It's ridiculous. Soulherder grows, doesn't die to Ren in 6, and I can actually just block that thing now. Sick. Combos. Combo mania. Opponent with the gut shot. Alright, Kolaghan's command was going to kill him anyway. He returned the Seasoned Pyromancer. Pithing Needle, what do we know? We know Raging Ravine. So maybe I just name Raging Ravine for now. I could always bounce it with Teferi at some point. Let's start with Uro. I would love to hit a land here, you know? Like, get this Court of Calling, like, really doing something. Nice, nice. But I don't think I need this untapped right now. If they play Liliana of the Veil, then I would bounce the Needle. So for the time being, I'm just going to name Raging Ravine. And they just used their Kolaghan's command, so... And it might be safe to tick down now, but whatever. I'm still ticking up. They've got a Pyromancer in hand. We've got it in Uro in the graveyard. So things are feeling fine. I've managed to slip about a minute behind, but the first game was so fast that I think this will be totally fine. I love seeing tapped lands like that. Now they're going to play what? You're going to pitch the last 2 cards in your hand? Another Kolaghan's command or just the Seasoned Pyromancer? Okay, we knew this was coming. If they get tokens, we can just win them. That seems good. They pitched a Bloodbraid Elf. That's amazing. Amazing. Play another creature, opponent. You know you want to. Play that Scavenging Ooze that you've got in your hand. What's the likelihood that I have removal, right? What's the likelihood? What's the chance? Liliana? Yuck. All right. So, it's really not the end of the world. Oh, they're not even going to do anything with Liliana. Don't do anything. Oh my god. That's awesome. All right. So now we're just casting Uro. They can minus, which is kind of fine with me. I could just hard cast Winds here, but I think I just like getting Uro on the board significantly better. I could also just Chord for something good. Like, I could chord for like Hostage Taker, take their Seasoned Pyromancer. I mean, Oro is just kind of bonkers, right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty close to having enough. I'm kind of fine just bouncing something now. All right, land was not what I was hoping for, but it will get in another card for Uro. Land. Ice Fang Coatl. Drawing cards, gaining life, all very nice things. Oh man, the Celestial Purge, just so good. Just so good. So let's just deal with that right now. Does it get the concession? Yeah, it's a really good card. On to game 3, maybe? Yeah, on to game 3. All right, so that's how games against Jund should go. So I see there's actually a good number of you guys with me here tonight. It's pretty exciting that I'm starting to draw a few more viewers each stream. I'm currently obviously playing Soulherder. It's Monday night Soulherder time. I always play Soulherder around 8 o'clock Eastern time on Monday nights. Wednesday evening is Merfolk. If any of you guys don't follow the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you do. If you like either Soulherder or Merfolk, I stream them regularly. You can watch all of the archived streams on my YouTube page. It's all of the links are at the bottom. If you guys feel like sending me money, there's like my PayPal email address over there. I'm just taking a breather, getting ready for game 3. I'd love to just beat Jund. Like, I lost to Jund already tonight, and it's supposed to be a really good matchup. So anyhow, give me a follow. If you subscribe, you get emotes. If you have Amazon Prime, you can get a free subscription if you link your Amazon Prime with your Twitch Prime. I've gotten a little bit better at this whole spiel, telling you guys to subscribe and follow. It's actually kind of a skill. Okay, all right, let's do it. We're gonna keep. Cord, we would much rather have be like another snake, but we've got removal, we've got Renin 6, Punisher, we've got a snake plus an ephemerate. I mean, like, land to ferry. I mean, we've got a lot of really good draws that we could rip off the top here. So opponent mull to 6. So let's go, guys. We mean business. I think I hate Renin 6 enough, and Renin 6, well, they might take the Pithing Needle if they have a Renin 6. It would make so much sense if they do that. I was going to say Renin 6 gets them lands back, so it's actually like digs them out of a mulligan. So if we could just jam Pithing Needle right away, name Renin 6, that's the best line here. Alternative, well, they're going to take the Pithing Needle. They kind of have to. Unless they have like a Tarmogoyf hand, in which case they take the path. So see, as I was saying while the opponent's thinking about this, if you Google like link Amazon Prime to Twitch, oh, they took the snake. It only takes like 2 minutes to do it if you feel like throwing a sub my way. Subscriptions, oh, that's awesome. All right, well, we just need to draw like one more land at some point. I don't run Revoker. Pithing Needle is just a better card. Revoker just dies to everything. Modern, I mean, it's a 2/1, right? So Revoker dies to Lava Dart, Gut Shot, Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt, every single removal spell in the format, even artifact removal. Okay, the opponent with the slow start, give me a land. Give me a land deck. Or Snake. Ugh. Alright, maybe we're going to be slow too. If they play Lily, they pull slightly ahead. Oh man, alright. Inquisitioning me is okay for the time being. Take the Court of Calling. The Court of Calling is definitely like the scariest card right now. It looks like they're not playing a land here, which would just be excellent for us. I'm not going to fetch because I really, really want to draw land here. I've never wanted to draw land more. All right. Eternal Witness down. No land from the opponent. Sick. Let's go deck. Drum roll. All right. I mean, another path is not the end of the world. What do you got, opponent? What do you got? All right, just passing. Sick. All right, well, we're matching each other. Come on, yes. So now it's Value Town time, ladies and gentlemen. I think the play here is just to get a witness back. Like, just play creatures, get creatures. They could have like a Cling to Dust, but whatever. I'm just getting a basic forest here. I mean, getting a Snake actually would have been a solid choice because then I could hold up Ephemerate. But whatever. Just like Eternal Witness can get the Oracle back, and they've already used 2 hand disruption spells, so... Alright, Lightning Bolt. Witness down. But they used a card from their hand, right? Thought teasing me. Fair enough. They get to take the other Witness. Down to 13, though, and we're continuing to battle. Snake. Oh my god. My deck loves me so much. So I wouldn't dream of just running out the Ephemerate here. I would not dream of it. If they Lily me here... Okay, they're just passing. Sick. Let's do this, guys. Opponent is missing their land drops. And we're hitting our land drops. This means we can actually get a 3-drop if we don't attack. And so I think the play is just to pass and hold up Cord now. Although, let's see. Yeah, seems fine. I'm going to get Canopy Vista. Going to not attack. I've done this so many times where I'm like getting ready to Cord and then I attack. Alright, so what is the best possible 3-drop here? I mean, Soulherder just dies to a push. If opponent doesn't have lands, they have to have good stuff. I guess Uro is the best. I'm going to get Uro. This is why we play Uro. Like, it's so good against these mid-range decks. Okay, you got me. You might have wanted to save that for Uro. Nice. Could actually Ephemerate Uro right now, but then I can't catch the rebound, so whatever. I want to get more white mana, but I also kind of want to get black mana, so I'm going to get black mana. Alright, so, you know, it's going to be hard for opponent to come back from this. Let's see. Heath, Misty, and Coiling Oracle. Okay, so we've got our Uro down. Poor opponent missing on their land drops. I do know that feeling. We've got Click now. So Ephemerate is actually kind of cool. If they have Lily, we can get more value, and then Flashing Click, catch the Ephemerate with Click. On my upkeep, that is. Opponent not drawing lands. It's gotta... They can only go so long with whiffing. They've had plenty of draws. They've had, what, 7 draws now? All right. You kind of hate to see it. It's really painful, but it happens. You know, we've had our mulligans this evening. Opponent does not have any trophies, not on the board yet. So currently 2-2. I think we've got enough time that I can just finish out this league. Just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so currently at 2-2. I was in the same exact situation earlier today. I started off a league 1-2, beating Jund, and then I lost to Control twice. Then I won, and then I won. So I finished 3-2. That's the hope right now, I guess, right? But anyhow, the deck's been fun tonight. I feel like maybe I'm mulliganing slightly more than usual. The deck has been kind to me lately. But I don't know. That was an excellent hand against Jund just then. Let me some people know. All right, so for those of you who are unfamiliar with MTGO leagues, if you finish positively 3-2, you get your entry back, plus like a treasure chest and some other largely kind of meaningless stuff. So this is a mulligan. It's got two 4-drops. Opponent's mulliganing as well. Now this is weird, but Teferi is a good card, Soulherder is a good card, and Path to Exile is a good card. So we are going to keep this, and we're going to bottom Stonehorn Dignitary. We're on the play, keeping 3 drops, a little bit more acceptable. I mean, keeping a hand with no 2 drops, sort of more acceptable when you're actually on the play. So opponent's keeping 6 as well. We've got the mana to cast both of these things. We've got Path on turn 2 if it's some kind of prowess deck or something. You can't always have a hand of like lands and snakes. You got to keep the clunkers sometimes too. Well, this looks like Storm, but it's not. It's prowess, which is actually quite good for us here. Didn't really want to draw a 4th land. Far from the end of the world here. I think I'll play it though just to thin the deck a little bit. I'll get another forest. Opponent, did you keep a one lander too? Just the knight of the one landers? Opponent in the tank. In the tank. I guess it would be decent if they went like Manamorphose into Entity, because then I could play Teferi next turn and bounce the Entity, and I would just path the Monastery Swiftspear this turn. But the way that the opponent is really slow rolling their second land, it kind of looks like they might just be on one land. Guess we have to wait and see. Soulherder, one of its weakest matchups because it enters as a 1/1, and this deck, you know, plays Gutshot and Lava Dart. So we really like to run a creature or two out ahead of Soulherder so that Soulherder has some way to grow into a 2/2. All right, I don't know why they took so long playing their land. They might be double queuing or something, but either way, it's kind of obnoxious. Okay, so Manamorphose into Stormwing Entity. I know the drill. Okay, alright. You got more of those Monomorphoses? More where that came from, opponent? Hopefully they don't, so that when I bounce the entity, they can't replay it. I just don't want them to play out like two more like Swiftspears or whatever. Come on, play your entity. I know how it goes. 2 lands. Oh, Soulscar Mage. Well, that's also a fine... It's actually a better thing for them to have because the Stormwing is actually a sick card. This thing gets bounced. It doesn't have Summoning Sickness. Totally fine. Enjoy your lands, opponent. So as I said, I'm going to get a second forest because Eternal Witness really likes to have forests. Then we're going to bounce this stupid Soulscar Mage. Draw a card, hopefully it's a good one, and it is a good one. Though pretty much my entire deck dies to Lava Dart. Probably going to kill Teferi, though, with like a Lava Dart or something. Well, there's a Bolt, straight up bolting it, so maybe they don't have the Lava Dart. We're getting to a spot where Uro would actually be excellent. Another path, more removal is always sick. Vendilion Click, interesting. Like, I'm not really sure if I care. They can do everything at instant speed, right? So, I'm not really sure I'm really into Vendilion Click here. I can give an Icefang Coatl Death Touch though, and that's probably the line I'm going to take here. So I'll get another island, I guess, and try to sabotage this Soulscar Mage. I mean, I could play like 3-drop and then 3-drop, 2-drop next turn, but just the possibility of killing the Soulscar Mage seems pretty good. This is a difficult matchup for those of you wondering. It's not like a total given, but we do get to bring in a lot more removal. Jesus, all right. Maybe the thing, and when you're in situations like this, F6ing or like seeming like your F6 is actually pretty good, like clicking through really fast, because it makes it seem like maybe they should just like dump their whole hand, but doesn't always have a huge effect. All right, well, see if I can kill one of these creatures here. What is the last card in their hand? If it was a Lava Dart, they probably would have just killed Teferi, right? So, do need to go get blue here anyway. I mean, double Snake here would be excellent, but Snake could draw Path. Didn't. The opponent is F6 here, so we're in the clear for the time being. All right. That's great. That's great. We can start to accumulate a little bit of value here. Just going to play Oracle into Soulherder, and the opponent, since they're F6'd, is going to let us get a little bit of value. Snake might be prioritized over Soulherder, though. The opponent knows I have it. One card in hand. I think I'm just going to play a Soulherder now, and then I'll draw another card. Probably chump one of these things with Oracle. Next turn, we can play like Click plus Coatl, and then a tapped Hallowed Fountain, unless we draw something better. It could be wrong. Maybe like playing the removal spell on a body is the way to go. But this is that window where you get to get Soulherder out of that that pinging range, right? Okay. You know what? I might just take damage here, guys. If they don't... Oh, my God. All right, let's go, deck. Come on. Oh, man. Starting to draw some air. Uro. Ice Fang. All right, still not bad. Still not bad. Got to keep our life total healthy. That's actually quite a good call. Thanks for pointing that out, Demon. That's why you've got the VIP badge. So I think I'm just holding up this Coatl here. Not attacking, and I'm going to blink the Oracle, because maybe, well, it can't hit a basic island, so maybe I just hit the Coatl here, keep the opponent in the dark. So that land would have gone to the battlefield with Oracle, but who cares? Land, redraw, fair enough. Okay, draw it up. What do you got, opponent? Man, like, so in this position, like, almost anything just... I mean, not almost anything. We've got a lot of ways to stabilize here. If we draw, like, Siege Rhino is awesome. Teferi's already in the graveyard. Eternal Witness would be solid. Maybe get back Teferi. Maybe just get back Path, honestly. Getting back Path is probably the best way here. So make sure I'm paying attention. I am going to flash in this Coatl. Opponent thinking a lot. I think we pretty much don't know either of the cards in their hand. So let's see how this goes. Attack, attack? Attack, attack. Fair enough. So an Ephemerate would be awesome here for tricks to be able to grow the Soulherder. But I'm just going to look for the good old Traderoonie here with the Swift Spears. They just scooped. All right, awesome. So we got game 1 against Prowess. I told you guys it only gets better. In game 2, we get to bring in a bunch of more removal. So Spore Frog, nice tech against them. Spore Frog, for those of you unfamiliar with the stream, it's kind of my own personal tech. It works really well with Chord of Calling because you just get like one creature down and all of a sudden you can chord with 3 lands for Spore Frog, slow the opponent down, and you can loop it with like Eternal Witness and especially with Ephemerate or Soulherder. It's basically like a build your own Stonehorn Dignitary. All right, let's stay focused. Another amazing 1-drop to chord for in this matchup is Burrington. So let me finish up sideboarding here. I think Worship is definitely excellent against these guys. I'm going to look out for Blood Moon because I got by this deck last time. Aether Gust is just outstanding in this matchup. We haven't really brought Aether Gust in this evening. I take out all the forces. It's not a good trade for like 1 Lava Dart. You could hit like a Light Up the Stage, but whatever. And I don't think Click is amazing here, honestly. And if we're thinking about Click versus Venser, I think Venser comes out in this matchup also, just because it's so heavy. It's so expensive. Stonehorn is kind of the nuts. This whole column is pretty amazing. I gotta focus here, stop talking so much. Oh, I do take out the birds. I take out the birds because they die to everything. And we bring in Night of Autumn. It's not amazing, but it's like a chump. Maybe gain some life, ephemerate, gain some more life. I like this setup. What do you guys think? Would you do anything differently? Jackie Chen, you can find the deck list over here with Cardboard Live. Some of you guys might see the little diamond next to Paintball Demon's name. I made him a VIP. That's something that I actually got the ability to do just today, just before the stream. I noticed it. So I'll definitely make some of you guys VIPs other than Paintball Demon. Certainly anybody who's subscribed, like Gallows Humor. I'm not exactly sure what being a VIP does, except like make you feel good, but it's nice to feel good, right? All right, let's fill up my water. I drink like 8 glasses of water during my streams. This is a nice hand. Opponent's mulliganing to 6. I think we're going to get to that. We might be able to get to that positive league here. Turn 1 Temple. It's perfect sequencing with the land. Nice to have the Temple into turn 2 Island. Redraw with Oracle. We've got some removal with Winds. Opponent did keep their 6. And it looks like they have a 1-drop. So we will be fighting for life total, but Uro in hand. All we need is like 1 more land. Removal would be amazing here. Are you going to Serum Visions or something? What's happening? Just play your cards, opponent. I don't know how I'm ahead on time, like, against the Prowess opponent. I mean, it's also, Worship is an amazing card. I would love to draw the Burrentin, but I'm not going to complain about Icefang Coatl. I mean, we're going to balance the chump blocks, because if we can get any creatures established, slam Worship, it's impossible for the opponent to win. So what do you got, dude? 1 land? I got nothing. I'm tapped out. Tappy tap. Thinking hard. Light up the stage. Ugh. All right, that's a good card. All right, they found that land. Nice. I think I have to hold up Icefang Coatl here. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to see how it goes. What are they doing? Gonna cast like another creature? This prowess opponent definitely very thoughtful. We'd love to draw like any basic land at this point. I might just wins the Swift Spear, honestly. Yeah, chump blocks feed the Uro, it's true. But they're almost certainly going to point their like small removal at my creatures so that they can just continue getting in for large chunks with their Swift Spear. Opponent in the tank. What's he gonna do? Nothing. Opponent's got nothing. Ephemerate's a good card, but we're getting to that point of the game where I won game 1. Me, I did it. So in this situation, I'm going to cast the Winds of Abandon. If they had more creatures, they probably would have played them out. And the opponent did mulligan, so hopefully it won't just be like a straight run to like 3 lands and just throw like 800 bolts at my face and light you know, lava darts, etc. All right, now what, opponent? Bolt to the face. Bolt to the face. Burst lightning to the face. Op to the face. Right, they went bottom. It's time for me to draw a land. A land deck, a land. But, you know, it's not terrible what I'm working with here. Chump blockers, redraws. Certainly Worship is fantastic, as long as I draw lands at some point. The cord is super clunky. Obviously, I've got an empty board. Another Swift Spear. I was hoping that they didn't have any more creatures. That could actually swing the game. And now a Stormwing to follow up would be very difficult for us to get through, I think, given the fact that we don't have a 3rd land yet. Jeez. All right. So let's see what they do with their scry. If we draw a land, like a forest, I could just play like Ice Fang, hold up Ephemerate seems reasonable. They went top bottom there, so they like something that they see. They are down to 2 cards, and they have 1 decent card coming. Come on, land. It's been long enough. Come on, give me yes. All right, sick. So now, for me, I kind of prefer the line where I play Ice Fang and hold up Ephemerate and sort of see what I can do. Opponents running low on cards. They have hit lots of land drops. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're just, I mean, Lava Dart is like the worst, right? Because they get a recast from it, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Okay, Monomorphose. It's a redraw. It's a buff. Pretty nasty. That must have been the card that they put on top, I think. Because if they had it last turn, they probably would have cast it. Aw, man. All right, well. Okay, well, now they're down to 1 card. And I'm going to play as if that 1 card is not something that could really mess me up. We really, really, really want them to cast like a lightning bolt at this thing, and then I would just Ephemerate, and it would just be like awesome. Okay, well they're not bolting it yet, so let me go to block. And let's see what the last card is in their hand. It could be a light up the stage, something like that. If it's removal, it's rough, but we're still saving 4 points of damage. So come on. Resolve. All right, sick. Now we can just jam Worship, and, well, the thing is, we've only got 1 creature, so Worship is pretty fragile. But it is something that forces them to draw removal, which they apparently don't have in hand. Oh man, look at those lands. Just land, land, land. Beautiful. I could go like Uro double Ephemerate. I mean, Uro Ephemerate to get double Uro triggers. But I kind of like just playing... If I play another creature, am I going to just die to their board? Like, what if I play tapped Hallowed Fountain, play a Coiling Oracle, try to just do my trick again with Ephemerate, not die. And then next turn, we get to untap with Worship and maybe Ephemerate. Yeah, the card is Ephemerate, and it has the ability Rebound. So I think I'm going to start off with Oracle here. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, that's actually really interesting. So now I can play the island, and now I've got Death Touch and Death Touch, and it should be really hard for the opponent to win through this. I could even Ephemerate if I need to. Now the opponent does know about this, but they don't know about Ephemerate. I could also, if I wanted to here, once I get Worship down, I can chord for Burrenton, and then they pretty much can't win. All right, so I just have to live through the next turn. We're thinking the opponent has nothing here. They could have like another Monomorphose or something. All right, well, it's a tricky situation here. Let's see. They're going to go all out, I'm sure. I'd love to be able to hang on to 2 creatures. I'd rather not Ephemerate so that I can play Worship and hold up Ephemerate. So that probably means I'm going to flash in another snake here. But if they have like Lava Dart, that's pretty nasty, right? So if I block here, they go for Lava Dart or something, I just Ephemerate. I don't know, guys. They know I have the snake. You know what? Hang on a second. I can block. I can block. That seems great. And then I'm going to cord to get Burrington. And if they have some kind of lethal situation, I can always sack Burrington. All right. So I'm going to block. I'm not ephemerating anything here. I don't know if you guys missed that. Ether gusting. Well, this is going to work out pretty well for us, I think. Opponent with 1 card in hand. Now, if we get to get Burrington down, not die this turn, then we jam Worship, and that's the game. I am going to put this on top of the deck, too, because I love it. Actually, you know what? I've got another one in hand. I don't even know what I want to draw here. But snakes seem pretty amazing, so I'm going to go top. And it looks like I'm set to take 4 here, which is totally fine. Okay, so now first things first, I'm going to play the Worship. And then I'm going to play an untapped Hallowed Fountain. And if they have a Vapor Snag, like, we lose. But that's the only thing that can beat us at this point. Actually, it can't beat us. It can't beat us because I've got Ephemerate on Burrington. All right, guys. We established the cool combo here. And I can attack, too, because don't even need to block here. Get that saucy attack in. What do you got? What do you got? You got that Vapor Snag? This is such a fun combo, like against red decks. Oh no, wait, it's colorless. It's colorless. Holy crap! Wow. I was just going on and on. Kozilek's Return. That's true. I know that they play that card. I do know that. I've seen it on stream for sure. All right, so Burrington, not the crazy tech that I thought it was, but kudos to the opponent. Kudos to the opponent. If we had one more turn, we would get down 1,000 creatures. But we are just straight up dead here, so let's go ahead and concede with grace. We were behind. I think they were on the play. We'll run it back, do the best that we can. It's still worth going for that combo, but man, 1 card drawing into another, and they got the Kozilek's Return. So maybe I should play like 1 Force of Negation. That was crazy. All right, I'm just gonna run it back like that. It was ridiculous. Like they had one out, and it was that, right? Even if they play Vapor Snag, which I've actually run into before. I've had a Burrington get Vapor Snagged by Blue-Red Prowess. I had Ephemerate covering that out. All right, this is amazing. It's making up for the garbage that happened last game. I am going to get like basics, I think. I'm going to get green. I'm going to play Spore Frog. And opponent mull to 6. Mulling to 5. Mulling to maybe 4. Can we get a 4? Opponent. Keep the no-lander, maybe? So for those of you guys joining me a little late, this is round 5. It's game 3. I'm 2-2. Opponent's mulled to 5. I've got a pretty nice opening hand. Pretty much any land is quite nice here. I mean, any land off the top of the deck, right? So we're going to play Spore Frog, and if they feel like bolting this right away or lava darting it, that's sort of fine. It's not something I plan to sacrifice anytime soon. But it is something that can fill up the graveyard to get Uro going. So maybe like a basic Plains would be pretty awesome for Teferi. Opponent just passing the turn. Maybe we get an attack in, spicy attack with the Spore Frog. All right. Opponent seems to be F6'd. So hit a land, please, Mr. Coiling Oracle. It's so good. So good. And depending on what the opponent does, I can just get green to get Eternal Witness, and then get Windswept Heath to be able to get our white mana online. So if they have like the Monomorphose into Stormwing entity, I would just get white and go to Fairy and bounce their Stormwing. Oh, Sprite Dragon. So that's just a 1/1 for now. There's no reason to crack this yet. I would love to draw another land. I could also just start Uroing. I have so many options. But expanding our board and drawing lands actually seems pretty solid. I'm attacking for more than the opponent right now. Yeah, I like getting the land back for now. And we'll probably want to get like blue-white, I would think. Okay, I guess we have to see, you know, what the opponent has. We're one Ephemerate away from getting the loop with Spore Frog going. Okay, Monomorphose, pumping their Sprite Dragon. Actually, bouncing the Sprite Dragon to reset it is pretty beautiful. Knock all the counters off of it. And if they kill all of our stuff, we get to just start casting Uros. So man, that Kozilek's return. I saw the and I saw the win, and that Kozilek's return just ripped it out from underneath us. It's Kozilek's return again. All right, man. I'm going to start playing Uros, and you're going to rue the day. Sack the Spore Frog, prevent the damage. Maybe he'll still attack. It doesn't really matter because I'm not attacking anyway. But actually, well, I'm not sure what's best here. I guess just Uroing is best. Draw some cards, line up the play for the following turn where I'm going to escape Uro. Wait, opponent did attack? That's so lame. You should feel bad about yourself, opponent. I mean, Teferi just bouncing this thing just treads water for a little while. I don't know. Uro seems fine. Give me a land, please. All right, so we're just gaining life for the time being. I mean, we haven't drawn any of our purges, any of our paths. And we've got an Eternal Witness to get back path if we draw it. Aw, man. Are they just going to kill me? Spell Pierce. Well, it's good to know that they have access to that, but I'm not going to cast any non-creature spells for a little while. Now, resetting this is getting much better. Oh my god, alright. It's getting pretty big, guys. They have one more card in hand. Oh my god. Can I get a path, please, off the top? Well, that kind of counts, doesn't it? It's tricky, right? Oh wait, they have the Spell Pierce. But if I cast this, Spell Pierce says pay 2, which is fine because I can pay 2, unless they have another Spell Pierce in hand, which would be absurd. I feel like Teferi just bouncing this thing is fine here, right? No. All right, no non-creatures. No non-creatures. Yeah. I know. I can win, and win seems pretty good here. I mean, if I, they're going to crack their Fiery Islet. Yeah, I mean, win seems like the way to go, right? Spell Pierce it. Prevent me from using my mana. All right, they did it. That's weird. So I have to say okay, and then it's going to ask me to pay, right? Right? All right. Opponent. No more creatures. No more creatures. But now I can play Uro from the graveyard, I think is just fine. I could also shock myself, play Eternal Witness, and then Winds of Abandon again. But Uro just seems better. It's gonna gain me life. Oh no, wait, that's not what I wanted to do. Wow. I fell asleep for a second there. Huh. That's not what I wanted to do at all. Jesus, am I gonna lose because I cast the wrong Uro? Yeah, wrong Uro. I was like, Uro, let's go. Man, that's a little bit rough. Ridiculous. Let me hold on. I have to bluff something here. I'm gonna like pretend like, okay, back it up like I had path. Let them do their thing. Let them buff them up. Make it look like I did that for a reason, right? Okay, all right. Don't kill me, opponent. Oh my god. Can't believe I got away with that. It's ridiculous. This is game 3 of round 5 against Prowess. I just misplayed last turn, but I appear to have gotten away with it. Hostage Taker will be fun if I can live. All right, opponent, on you. So I'm like 10,000% blocking here. Bolt Face. They've got 2 cards left. I guess it's to light up the stage, which is quite solid. Light up the stage. Oh my god. Come on, 2 mountains, please. Oh, it's nasty. It's pretty nasty. Still blocking the Soul Scar. If they want to use the Burst Lightning to finish off Uro, that's completely fine. All right, I'm fighting for my life here, guys. I can like cord for if I draw a land, I can cord for like Siege Rhino. Yeah, I gotta block. It's gonna kill my Uro. It hurts. But it's burn that's not going to my face, and I could potentially just start casting Uros again soon. I can also go get, if this guy dies, oh, he's not going to die, because he's, wow, amazing. I can go get back Winds with Eternal Witness. That's kind of nice. So I go Eternal Witness, I'm going to Winds, the Sprite Dragon right away. And then I'm going to hold up Ephemerate for the Eternal Witness, I think. Alternatively, I could play Teferi, bounce the Soulscar Mage, see what I draw, follow up with Eternal Witness, but I'm still weak to... Oh, Hostage Taker. I forgot about Hostage Taker. But if I cast it, yeah, that's the way to go for sure. I got so looped into like the Winds of Abandon. Hostage Taker ready to shine. Should I take their Sprite Dragon, or should I just take the Soul Scar, cast it, and then hold up Ephemerate? Isn't that better for now? Oh, I see. Take the Sprite and then block with it. I don't know. I kind of like taking this guy and casting it. Well, this is a fun way to end the league, showing you guys how Hostage Taker works against Prowess. All right, opponent. Let's see what you got. This is such a crazy game. Okay, that's fine. I can block that. I'm not going to run out the Ephemerate if they just attack with Sprite Dragon, and I'm going to let them do whatever they want to do. And again, I'm ahead on time against the Prowess opponent. But these are the Prowess... I don't know. Like, what do you got, opponent? Actually, hang on. If they 3 my face with a Lightning Bolt... Oh, they're attacking with both. That's bold. All right, so they look like they kind of want to go for the win here. So I'm going to block the Swift Spear with the Soulscar Mage. In theory, they should bounce off each other. But I have my Ephemerate. I'm sure he has 1 spell in hand. What's your spell, opponent? What do you got? Wow, what a fun game this has been. This is amazing. He's thinking real hard. Real hard. Gotta cast that Lightning Bolt if you have it, right? But who do you target? Do you target the... Oh, slow rolling it. All right. I'll take 2. And then I guess I can just play Worship next turn. Kozilek's return does not kill the hostage taker. Path to exile. Haha, prowess. I don't know that I've ever gotten a prowess trigger before. Spicy. Kozilek's return is going to kill my little guy, unless... Well, hang on. This is just dealing 2 damage, right? So I can just ephemerate right now, and then this guy won't die. That seems good. Seems good to me. Oh my god. Oh wait, well I guess that's fine. I could have cast the Swift Spear. Take that, opponent. This has been a magical game of Magic. Just like delightful. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna start playing 1,000 creatures soon. That Kozilek's return is not getting you out of this. In fact, it did literal nothing. Don't scoop now, though, opponent. I've got a Sprite Dragon coming your way. Definitely not blocking. All right, sweet. So, I mean, sort of whatever. I'm just gonna target this thing, I guess. Oh, what happened? Oh, oh my god, that's so ridiculous. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, guys. That just... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This game is locked, like hard locked. But it was pretty stupid to do that. It was definitely pretty stupid to do that. Sorry. Live and learn. It's the first time I've cast a Soulscar Mage, I think. It's my bad. I'm very, very sorry for the misplay. Actually, Vapor Snag is kind of an out, right? So we do have to be careful about Vapor Snag. Let's try to watch the life total wherever possible. I get a counter on my Sprite Dragon. Spell Pierce. Okay, that's sort of fine. No. Hostage Taker is fun, but I think just getting like Path Back is better. Actually, you know what? I really want to gain some life. So maybe just courting for like Siege Rhino is the best line here. I don't really have to fear anything against Worship except like Vapor Snag, basically. Exactly, Vapor Snag gets me. Blood Moon would be pretty dirty at this point, but the opponent just scooped. All right, so very nice stream this evening. We did win the chest, got our entry back, and that was really just an amazing game. It was I guess an end of the night kind of punt, blinking their mage, but the game was locked up. I had a 3 toughness creature, so Kozilek's return didn't matter. I had ephemerates, I had Teferi coming online, so fed the kids. All right, so let's real quick talk about Vendilion Clique versus Venser. I mean, think about what Venser would have done in the league. It's like I played against Jund twice. I played against Prowess. You know, like Venser only cares about Tron and kind of Supreme Verdict, but Uro is just a better response to Verdict than Venser, because Venser bounces the Supreme Verdict back to their hand, and unless we have exactly Ephemerate to bounce the Venser and keep the Supreme Verdict at bay, we're just going to lose our board the next turn. Whereas Uro, they fill up your graveyard with dead creatures and you just start casting Uro. So, anyhow, pretty good league. I lost to Jund once, which is ridiculous. Not really sure who else I lost to. I don't want to do input settings. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I lost to Mill. Mill was nasty. I think we're like 10% against Mill or something like that. Venser versus Verdict is only killer if you're going for the win. Exactly. Otherwise, it's just like whatever. It's pretty bad. Spell Queller is a great card, but I've tried it. I've tried it already in the deck. Spell Queller really wants Teferi in the deck, and it wants like 4 Teferis. So it's a specific build that anybody who likes the sound of that, I encourage you to give it a shot. It's definitely competitive. It plays really strong cards. The problem is that by itself, Spell Queller in Modern is pretty weak. What has it got, like a 4 toughness? I forget. I think it's 4 toughness, which is actually pretty nice because it dodges Bolt, clearly. No, it's 3 toughness, so it dies to Bolt, right? So it dies to Bolt, dies to Push, dies to a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm tired. I knew that it was a 2-3. I just didn't want to say it was a 2-3 and then have it be a 2-4 and be wrong. So I was wrong anyway. It's a fun card. I sort of tried it, didn't love it, and moved on. So, take that for what it's worth. It's a good card. But if I'm analyzing a Clique versus Venser, I feel like Clique has been better. Just better in more situations. Much easier to get with Court of Calling. Hostage Taker it was really awesome. I almost punted despite Hostage Taker's hard work, but you guys got to see Worship do really nice things. I think Pithing Needle did a good job this evening. Veil is always broken. Spore Frog just sort of blanked one of their attacks. Could potentially blank all of their attacks once we get a bit of a lock going in that game. Disdainful Stroke didn't come into play, but we just played decks that are more lower to the ground. Worship is just incredible. Winds, Purge, Burrington. I had the Singleton Ceremonious because you guys know Tron is a thing. Ether Gust is really nice. I feel like there's a learning curve to this card, and I need to look for opportunities where like I'm gonna path something, and then if they search, I Ether Gust. There's like all these interactions that like I'm not really good at. Like if they put a fetch on the stack, then I can Ether Gust their creature, and then they can choose whether they want to search or not. I think they have to search with a fetch, right? But they can choose not to find. Yeah, guys, I had been thinking for a while about swapping the main deck Knight of Autumn for a single main deck Teferi. I hesitated to do it only because there's so much Stoneforge Mystic in the metagame right now that Knight of Autumn is just awesome, and when it's not blowing up artifacts and enchantments, it's gaining life against Prowess and Burn. So it's a really good card, but Teferi just gets such a beautiful lock on so many decks that it's just the power level is just a little bit higher, and I feel like I could edge out the Knight into the sideboard. And I think tonight showed that was the right call. I played against Jund twice, and Teferi is amazing against Jund. Knight of Autumn is a card I sideboard out against Jund. So I don't know. Hopefully some of you guys, if you're new to the stream, I encourage you to follow. I stream Soulherder every Monday, Merfolk on Wednesdays. Trying to get some followers on the channel. Still relatively new. It's been less than a year. This deck has been awesome for me. I've had 2 5-0s and 2 4-0s that I unfortunately lost in the 5th round in the last 2 weeks alone. And then every other league was 3-2, except I think 1. So hugely positive. I only started grinding leagues once I felt confident with this deck. I had been like messing around with queues and changing cards around, going back and forth between Orion, Bant, red, black, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But I started piling up a bunch of chests, so traded in like 30 chests the other day for like a whole bunch of tickets, which are basically money. So the deck has been good to me so far. I encourage any of you guys who are interested. I know Gallows Humor saw my post on Reddit about this and has picked it up and started playing it. I think he's having a great time with it. So please, if you like the channel, if you like Soulherder or Merfolk, give me a follow. If you really like it, give me a subscription. It means a lot to me when you guys subscribe. And I'll be sure to make some of you guys into VIPs when I have a moment to sit down and just like look over who's subscribing and who's been with me for a long time on the channel. So Gallows Humor, I don't think that graveyard is necessary. Dredge is the only graveyard deck I really care about, and I'm sort of fine just trying to dodge the matchup. And if we do run into it, we have outs. Like Worship isn't out against Dredge. Their Creeping Chills don't kill you through Worship. You've got your Stonehorn loops. I feel like the cards that I have in, I mean, I could see putting in an Ashiok, like a single Ashiok. Academy Ruins, though, I mean, like, how many mono blue Tron decks are there? Like, Academy Ruins is not something you should really be worried about. And if you're bringing in cards against mono blue Tron, I'd say that more than Graveyard Hate, like Teferi is probably just going to be the nut. So just run more Teferis. So anyhow, unless you guys have any questions about any of the card selections, I think Click has been fine. I do like it. It helps us a little bit against like control. It helps us make the opponent's top decks worse. Like if we're playing against Jund, we top deck Click, pass the turn, we flash it in on their draw step, ship away their like Bloodbraid Elf. Now they draw a land, pretty good. We can start ephemerating it every draw step, keep them off of gas. So Pithing Needle can stop Ruins, yeah. You didn't side in Pithing Needle against Mono Blue Tron? Pithing Needle is like the nuts against Mono Blue Tron. It names like any card in their deck. So I'm gonna call a few of you guys out because you join me so regularly. Like DV, I always love seeing you here. Thanks for sticking with me to the end of the stream. Gallows Humor, very very new Soulherder player, but super obviously super excited about the deck. That's great. Friendbot, I don't think I've seen you before. You can watch the stream tomorrow, probably like afternoon on YouTube. I think you can probably watch it on Twitch right now to like just watch the replay. Professor Chaos, I'm not sure I've seen you here before, but thanks really a ton for joining me this evening. And Paintball Demon, if you're still around, thanks for your support. You've been with me since like the beginning. You play Merfolk and Soulherder. You're like my core demographic. I need to get everybody who plays Modern to play Soulherder and Merfolk, and then I'll be like king of the world, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just sign off, guys. It's getting late over here. I've got to have dinner. But again, I really appreciate you guys joining me. I'm gonna be back on Wednesday evening with Merfolk. So if you're interested, join me then, and we'll kick some butt with Merfolk. All right. So